Ти знизу, усі обличчя вниз, тримайте руки так, щоб було видно ваш ID. Ви м'ясо і кістки, ви кволі та слабкі, повстання заклинеться у червоній рідині. Ви втратили свій світ, знає ваші сни, ви навколо спали, і цей світ лишить нічі. У кожного свій тест, у кожного свій хрест, усе, що ви лишили, не почищений гріх. Супроти втрати смисл, усі обличчя вниз, тримайте руки так, щоб було видно ваш ID. Ви м'ясо і кістки, ви крові та слабкі, повстання заклинеться у червоній рідині. Ви втратили свій світ, ви знаєте ваші сни, ви навколо спали, і цей світ лишить нічі. У кожного свій тест, у кожного свій хрест, усе, що ви лишили, не почищений гріх. Супроти втрати смисл, усі обличчя вниз, тримайте руки так, щоб було видно ваш ID. Ви м'ясо і кістки, ви кволі та слабкі, повстання заклинеться у червоній рідині. Ви втратили свій світ, знає ваші сни, ви надто довго спали, і цей світ лишить нічий. У кожного свій тест, у кожного свій хрест, усе, що ви лишили, не почищений.
Oh, that ending was a bit painful to your ears, right? Hi, rollers. Live long and prosper. How you doing? Today, I have more energy than the last two times, and that's amazing. Today, we're going to have a great guest, Jen Stout. She's a Scottish independent journalist who's covering the war in Ukraine. And she has a book about this war. It is called A Night Train to Odessa. No, just Night Train to Odessa. So, yeah. Hi, Mom. Hi, everyone there in the chat. Hi, Sir Garrick. Wednesday already? Yeah, time flies. It is so fast. It is all going so fast. So I cannot even notice days sometimes. But I've been productive yesterday, like very productive. I've been working on the dub, and I think there's a big chance that I will finish it until Saturday, and gonna premiere it on Saturday. Yeah, but let's go to the breaking news. Fitza was shot. Of course, this news is like 2 hours old, so not breaking anymore. But I was never a good breaking news reporter or something like that, you know. But I don't really like it. It's not my thing. But anyway, that's how it was. Panics, like, yeah, the sources are saying that 4 to 5 shots were made. I think Fitzo has been stabilized.
Okay.
Get your phone away. He was stabilized, as I heard a few minutes ago in the news, as I've read. I didn't hear it. But yeah, they said that he's stabilized. Fitzo has a lot of friends and enemies, especially. As for friends, I meant some dangerous friends like Putin or like mafia, Italian mafia. They've been working together. Well, working. You know how mafia works. So that's Fitzo. They are dragging him into a car real quick. He's bodyguards, shutting the door, and, well, not driving away yet. Yeah, they just got him into protection. So yeah, they got him into the car, and after that, I think they went to the hospital right away. Anyway, this could be like whoever, right? Okay, let me talk to you, chat. Prometheus UA. During the song, there were English subtitles on the screen. Yes, this was perfect. This song is about 5 years old, but its words are very relevant today. Well, Prometheus, this song is about the uprising of the machines, of the AI. I am not. I mean, there's a possibility that uprising will come, but we're still in that phase. So, yeah, I think these days these words are not very prophetic. But yeah, if everything goes as it goes right now, they will become prophetic. So, good song. Thank you for letting me know about it. As you can see, I checked it out and presented it on the stream today. So, you guys, I need to add the link to this band's name. Not name. Actually, link to this song. Just give me a second. I'm gonna add it into the description of the stream. That's what I'm about to do. Bear with me. Ah, damn it. This again. This, I think. Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, I think it's a browser, guys. I need the second one to open it up and make some adjustments there. Okay, so the next dub is coming out hopefully this Saturday. And I think it will, yeah, there's a big chance that I will finish it in time. I will work hard on it tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. That's my plan, at least. Okay, let me go there and do it right now. Add in the link to this song so you can go and subscribe if you like their songs. Subscribe to the channel because they have only 466 subscribers on their YouTube channel. They deserve definitely more because at least this song is very interesting and it's rocking, definitely. Okay, it's in the description now, guys. Just let me add that it's actually I need to get the name out there. Anderson Roboty. The Anderson Robots. Yeah, let's do it like this. Done. Now you can see it in the bottom of the description. Mentioned channels videos. Update the page and you will see it. If you want, I can recommend some interesting songs. I've been following Ukrainian music for a long time. There are very cool songs that are not well known even in Ukraine. Yeah, of course. You can send them better to my Discord. Can you join our Discord community? Find me there and send me a private message. This will be ideal. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to lurk and listen. Thank you, Bell Covert, for being here and listening. Who else? I want to actually say hello to each and every one of you guys there. Lady Bird, hello, how you doing? Ilona, my mother, I already told you hello. Happy to see you here. Rep Tyree, how you doing? Cheryl Waitley. Andreas Lach, my friend, how you doing? Letter Cat, Manu, Lynn S, AJ Lahinska, Matt Leach Music, Sir Garrick, Silver Earth, Irene S, Yardley Bottles, Michelle, Roberto Baggio, Bong James Bong, that's a funny one. Who else am I missing there? Holy Oblation, how you doing? Okay, Fred Thornbury, how are you doing, my friend? Yeah, I think now to the bottom. RK Kristalovich or Kristalovich, Kenti Laden, how are you doing, my friend? Good morning to you too. Well, it's evening here in Ukraine, but morning to everyone who is watching from US and Canada. And who knows, maybe even Mexico or Brazil. It's really interesting to know. Taz, how you doing? Lithuania lurking in the background. Thank you for lurking. Welcome. Just Jimmy, how you doing? Sam Parker, Martin 13. Excellent. Good to see you, Rick. Good to see you, Roberto. Great name, James. Good evening from Amsterdam Oblast. Awesome. Netherlands, you understand us so much. After MH17. This screen is too bright. Let me make it less bright. Now it's probably not bright enough, but my eyes will get used to this. Okay, Latvia always supporting. Who's from Latvia? Manu, I know that you're from Italy, right? You're not from Latvia, if I'm not mistaken. Yaron Elemeyer, hi from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If I'm not mistaken, PA is Pennsylvania. So happy someone got my name right. Thanks. Yeah, Michelle, not Michael. I'm fine, Rick. At work right now. Awesome, Taz. Where do you work if it's not a secret? Just curious. Maybe you want to keep it a secret. Okay. Yes, Jen, if you're watching, I'm going to send you a link. Just give me a minute. But Jen is going to join us in 42 minutes, so we have time to talk about anything. Well, actually, we can actually chat with you guys, or talk about the news, or chat about the news. Also a good thing to do. Okay, I was about to go to another scene. Yeah, this one. And I'm gonna send this link to Jen. Now, come on. Oh, guys, both our fundraisers are on 31%. Look at this. That's so cool. It would be awesome if they're both were on 99%, but we'll get there. Just need to work on that. Okay, this one is sorted. Manu, Taz from Latvia. Taz is from Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. Taz, right? You're not from Latvia. You're from Lithuania. I know that, like 99.9% sure of that. Do you have any news about Fico? Let me check what I have. I don't have any sources to have the news faster than you guys, but let me check. Let me check. Today, Russia's been attacking a lot of our towns and cities. Kherson, some kids were wounded. Ah, shit. And yes, today Mykolaiv also was hit by a ballistic missile. So a lot of shit is happening out there. Not on even close to the front line. Rocket strikes, missile attacks. Russians keep doing all of that. I can actually show you the photos from attacks, from today's attacks. About Fico, the only update I've heard is that he's been stabilized and his life is not under, how do you call it? Is not under the threat. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's the last thing. A lot of memes about that one, of course. Not sure that we're going to be discussing them here, though we're not a serious community, right? We love to joke. But anyway, I just didn't get them here. Okay, so this is in Mykolaiv. First photo, this is it. Second photo, and third. You see our firefighters are using the robotic firefighting systems, like this awesome robot, land robot. Pretty cool. That I think was given to us from our partners because Mykolaiv is under Denmark's. How do you call it? Denmark is helping Mykolaiv a lot. And this last photo is also from Mykolaiv, and these photos are from Kherson, and this is happening in Kherson every day. The city is becoming a ghost city. This is Fico again. And of course, this night, there were some awesome news from Bilbek in Sevastopol. This is the airport there, huge airport, and Atacoms were visiting. You see a lot of explosions there because they were successfully attacking the air defense systems there. And here was the fire there. And of course, Russian propaganda said that all of them were neutralized. All the missiles, like 10 Atacoms missiles, rockets were neutralized. That's bullshit. That's impossible for, I think, even maybe for Patriot. But Russians, hopefully, they don't have Patriot. And we have some photos that, as reported, are from Bilbek, but we cannot be sure that this is not some old photo. Anyway, it's reported by Russians, so you always need to check the information twice or thrice. Here's the launcher of S-400 system here. But if it's really from Bilbek, then it's amazing. And also some radar on these photos. Hey, UTV and Ham, thank you for becoming a stinger here on YouTube. Jake Bro raised 750 by the end his birthday fundraiser yesterday. Blew past his goal of 500,000, new goal 800,000. He has a huge audience. Yeah, that is fucking amazing. I am actually happy to see it, guys. And I am so I actually thanked him yesterday for joining this initiative and providing this outstanding result because yeah, finally you see, guys, his community's power was put to the fundraising for Ukrainian army, like directly through Jake Bro's fundraiser himself. Like he was recommending fundraisers here and there, as far as I know, but now he's involved in one big fundraiser himself, and he didn't even expect that it's going to be that big. And let's go look how much do the do they have now? Just a second. Where is it? Here it is. 758,000, 10,371 donations. Fucking insane. Oh my gosh. Guys, I really hope that he will go to million because, damn, it's easy for them. Look at this. He can go to $1 million and actually beat like the huge. Okay, this is going to be a record that no one will be able to beat. I'm sure of it. Maybe Starsky. I think Starsky is actually capable of beating this record, so I need to push him to join 69 Sniffing Brigade fundraisers. But I know that he doesn't like that. He doesn't raise money, but he always helps me when we're in need to close our fundraisers. Reptyree, thank you very much for 20 gifted memberships. I appreciate that very much. And UTV and Ham, thank you for $2 super chat to support. Wishing I could do more. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your super chats, memberships. This all helps a lot. I like Jake, but Stark. Who's Stark? Okay, so yeah, this is fucking epic, and this is enough. Actually, if each truck is $20,000, right? Now then 758,000 divided by, let's take 800,000. They will reach that goal definitely. So 800,000 divided by 20,000 is 40 trucks. Oh my fucking god, this is gonna be the biggest convoy. Of course, they're not gonna be coming in one convoy, but divided in two convoys. But considering that we already have many other fundraisers joining those convoys, like our fundraiser finished, and we're gonna be delivering our truck. They're gonna be delivering our truck. I mean, 69 Sniffing Brigade in about a month from now. So I actually know the date. I'm not sure if it's a secret or not, so I won't say the date. But anyway, in approximately a month, our trucks with other initiatives, with other fundraisers, gonna be delivered in the convoy in about a month. And Jake Bros, if even half of his trucks, this is going to beat a record. If even half of those will come to on the next convoy, then, but it's enough for 4 convoys actually to make each a record. So yeah, 40 trucks, but I think he will go to 1 million, and I would love it to go to 1 million. And I think it's going to be 50 trucks if they will reach the 1 million. So fucking awesome. Jake, you're awesome, and your community especially. Look at this. Your community have done something incredible. So guys, I actually am actually see that maybe we're going to be able to if we're going to be able to get Jack to that 24-hour stream that I'm dreaming of, and set a goal of $1 million, and get everyone else who is in the YouTube pro-Ukrainian YouTube community, then we have a chance to reach a million easy. But that should be an occasion, and it should be something special. The Ukrainian Independence Day is good, but I think the chance for us is bigger on Christmas. I think the chance is bigger, and Ukraine is going to be in much worse condition by Christmas, by this Christmas. I mean, on the front line, and our energetic infrastructure will be probably, if not destroyed, but significantly much more crippled by the end of this year. Because, guys, we have limitations already today. And yesterday, luckily, at my apartment, I had electricity yesterday all day and today all day, but it's for now. They promised us to get the emergency, not blackouts, but power outages today. So yeah, we're gonna do another truck, but I'm not sure that we're gonna do drones, because you see, last one was really hard to raise, and I'm not sure that we need to go like for 24,000, because 18,000 euros is already right now I won't say a challenge, but I see that support, well, not support, engagement on the channel is going down. Uh, I sometimes get upset about it, but today I don't care if I just keep working, and I don't need to watch the algorithm, the activity, and all of that. I just see that it's getting harder to raise money for the NAFO trucks, but who knows? Next fundraiser, I decided to do a Bradley patch, and Bradley is showing itself amazingly on the Ukrainian front line. So I think that that's a good motivator to close it faster than a month. But still, I'm not sure about 25,000 with 10 drones. What do you guys think? Maybe we need to do a how do you call it? A poll, yeah. Rick, Rick. When is Vyshivanka Day? Actually, tomorrow. You did miss it, Irene. It's tomorrow, and I'm gonna be wearing one more new Vyshivanka that you didn't see yet. My wife gifted it to me a few days ago. Like, actually, it was last week. It was a surprise for me because I wanted that one, but I hesitated because it's not cheap. And I was like, nah, I should not treat myself right now because I have some urgent, well, not needs, but I better not get another Vishvanka. I don't need it. But she decided that I need it and bought it for me. And it was so cool and so heartwarming and cute. And it's beautiful. It's unique, pretty cool. I can't wait to show it off tomorrow for you guys. Okay. What am I missing there in chat? Cheryl Waitley, I was so shocked and emotional upon receiving a Ukrainian flag from Rick the Ukrainian. I didn't expect something so substantial, bringing the Ukraine of my heart into my home. It's my pleasure. You know, rollers, getting you those packages is my... I feel like it's the least I could do to thank you guys, because you do so much for me, you do so much for our army, and I just need to give you at least something in return. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of a spoiler for some of you guys, but every roller will receive that eventually. I am just starting with those who are becoming a member on Buy Me a Coffee, but I will send it when I finish with those. Though I hope I won't finish, because it will be adding up. I mean, the new members on Buy Me a Coffee will be adding up. And I, anyway, wish that, not wish, my plan is to finish with that. I mean, the speed of memberships is going down, because I got to my goal, and now we're going to extra goal, and it's slower, and it's totally fine. That's how it should be. And I'm just saying that it's going to be easy to get to send all the packages to Buy Me a Coffee members, and then I will be messaging you one by one, rollers. Even if you're not a member on Buy Me a Coffee, you're going to get a package from me, because I want to thank every roller. And you know, guys, there's a special patch for every roller also that is exclusively sent by me, if you're a roller, to you. Anyway, guys, I just try to offer you to become a member on my Buy Me a Coffee if you're still not, every time I send those. But anyway, even if you don't have the means to do that or anything else, I'm sending you this one, because you're a Rick roller, and you'll get one of these. Yep, that's it. Okay, so we've done with that. I was discussing. Was I discussing? I want to read the chat. Okay. Okay. Rick, awesome. Your wife loves you. Get her some flowers. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I will. Thank you. Would it be ideal to host a super stream on Arthur or Jake's channel? Yeah, it will be ideal, definitely. A bigger audience, that's what we should do. They have a bigger platform. Rick, would you agree to delegate your idea to another channel? Yeah, of course, of course. I would love to just be involved in this. It could be done not on my channel. That's going to be ideal because yes, they have bigger audiences, and it's going to be wise to do it on Arthur's or on Jake's channel, right? Yes, but ideally, I should be like there, not for 24 hours probably, but at least for the biggest part of it, as it is kind of my idea. I'm not sure that it's my idea, but it happened on my stream. We were with Greg. Yeah, but I proposed that, I think. Or maybe no, Greg wasn't there. It was me and Sekai. I'm not sure. Maybe Greg was there. Guys, do you remember the details? Okay. By the way, Mr. Squiggle. Hello, how you doing? And I hope you noticed that I've added the and in the video in the NAFO Handover event videos. Did you notice that one? Let's maybe watch it. If you didn't, tell me there in the chat. Hello, Wiper. How you doing? It's really scary. What is scary? Hey, Martin, thank you for 22 euro super chat. Rick, Sharksky, Jake, respect. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support. You're awesome, Rick. Thank you, Holy Oblation. I still need a translation of one of the messages, says Lettercat. Oh yeah, send me the photo. Okay. Rick, awesome. Yes, that one I've already read. Sir Garrick, Jake makes supreme content highly pro-Ukraine for over 2 years, but somehow connected to other UA supporters just recently. Turns out to be great. Yeah, that's always. Collaboration with other YouTubers is only a win-win for all of us. I've never seen any minuses in that. Okay. Rick, you need to get Anna of Ukraine on your live stream. She's not interested in at the moment. I tried, but she's not interested in that. But maybe she'll reconsider. She told me. Let's see. You could be among the main organizers, of course. Yeah, that's what I should do. Joining late, but glad to be here. Sending love from Ohio. I think I will need to rewind to understand what you're talking about right now. Yes, Ellie Luz, a lot of things we've been talking about actually. And I'm hyperactive today, and I love it. And what? And I have some more news for you. Well, potential news. It's not news for now, but anyway, let me do it. I'm gonna show you something. Oh, someone actually. So you guys, most of you probably watch Sharksky, right? So you know that he has a friend whose name is Mirko Burtovy, right? Mirko, not Murko. Mirko actually, I met him today for the first time, and Mirko is a great person, and we're gonna be working together. Can you guess what we're gonna be working today? Murko is sounds really funny. Yeah, please give me your guesses what he is doing and what is his speciality or profession. I think you might know already, but who knows? Any wayo. What am I doing here? I need to send it to myself. Okay, here it is. Rick receives a message from Rick. Everyone names their cats Murko. I'm gonna ask if he likes this name. Let's go back there. Let's go back, and we have a photo with him. Yeah. Please guess. Yeah, so it was a good meeting for the first time, but it was pretty cool. Why but? It was pretty cool, it was pretty cool. Okay, so I'm trying to read the chat. I'm on my phone. I can't see much. Michelle Ferguson, hello. How you doing? I'm gonna keep the photo here. So when you'll get back from your phone, call. You probably mean on your phone, so it's small. I'll make it bigger. Okay, just like this, and keep it bigger. So yeah, any guesses, guys? What are we gonna be working on together? What is Marco gonna be helping me with? Hi all. Been busy, but happy to be here now. That's better. Hello, Mike. How you doing? Nafo truck? Nano truck. No. Neither nano nor Nafo. Yeah. Spreadsheets? No, not spreadsheets. Lettercat, I will translate it for you, but later, if you don't mind, after the stream, okay? Thank you. Yes, Silver Earth. Good guess. Well, actually, yes, he's a designer. Yes, Silver Earth. But he's gonna be helping me with merch, and you're gonna have some good news about the merch. I've seen a few of you wanted to get some Rick Roller merch already. So yeah, that's a spoiler for you guys. Rick, is he a comedian? No, he's not. He's a designer, yeah. So he already has a great platform, and he's gonna, we're gonna collaborate with him. And all the news will be provided to you when it's ready, okay? Thank you. Yeah, that's really fucking awesome. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this. This is one of the reasons my mood is so cool again. So that's this, and that's also a dub, being really working good on it this week. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, I didn't have time to work on it today, unfortunately, yet. But after the stream, I'm hoping to do that also. Though I need to also write a fundraiser report from the last stream, that boring stuff, but that must be done as a transparency part, right? I just watched the stream from Chad, who says that US doesn't oppose Russian propaganda, false information, unlike NAFO, which is fantastic organization. Yeah, exactly. NAFO is, I think, the only, like, well, not the only, of course, but one of the most successful in this. And pretty fucking awesome. Okay. That's really cool. Yay. I agree, guys. Okay. So I see more of you are joining the stream. Don't forget to like it, please. It helps with engagement. And I need to show you more of something. I don't know what yet, but let's go and see. What did we have in the news this week? So we've been talking about this, and guys, that's how Vovchansk looks now. Kharkiv Oblast has been invaded once again from hey, for some reason it doesn't work. Let's open it once again. No, that's natural. It's like it was frozen due to the bad connection. That's crazy. They are completely destroying Vovchansk, and Deep State is showing all the updates, of course with some delay, but you see that Russians are now on the outskirts of Vovchansk, and that's bad news. Also from Deep State, we had a bad news about corruption yesterday. So let's see. Vovchansk is here. You see there are two strikes. The strikes from Russia being done in two directions. Vovchansk here has been already, some part of it has been already occupied by Russians, and they are moving closer to the center of the city, but there's a river in here that might hold them back for a week or so. But anyway, heavy battle is happening there, and not only the river, but mainly, and mainly Ukrainian soldiers will stop them. Unfortunately, another Ukrainian town is being destroyed right now. Hello, Jeroen, how you doing? How is the power electricity situation in your city? Here in Kyiv, guys, we are waiting for some power outages today. They promised to do some of them yesterday, but I didn't get one. I was lucky to not get a power outage, but in the evening from 6 to 10, power outages are more likely because that's the time of the most consumption from citizens. But yeah, I think I will have a power outage today, like I would say 70 to 80% that I will get it today. Hopefully after the stream, not during the stream. That's tanks firing into the houses. Saw the report early this morning. Not only tanks, guys, they are using artillery, they are using glide bombs, and you see, guys, two Patriots could prevent those glide bombs from landing on Vovchansk, and US doesn't want to give us any Patriots. Guys, I am 90% or 95% sure that US wasn't giving us a Patriot system itself. Patriot missiles, yes, but the Patriot systems, they were given to us from, if I'm not mistaken, Germany, Netherlands, and some other European country. The USA and Germany have been holding back too much. They don't realize hesitation invites escalation. Exactly, Cheryl Waitley. That's what I'm talking about. Viper UA, Rick, I understand they say corruption, and yes, but I will not work and dig or do construction work that close to the border. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but the work, the work needs to be done, and they were saying that it's done. Weren't they? I mean, the command of that general who was replaced by an awesome Ukrainian general, Drapati. I forgot his first name. Mykola, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go and check. Drapati should be here somewhere. I was saving that news. Yeah, Mikhailo. He's Mikhailo, not Mykola. Mikhailo Drapati. It was on 11th of May that he was actually put as a commander of O2. I forgot how O2 abbreviation. Окреме угруповання? No, I don't remember. Sorry, guys. But Kharkiv region is now under command of Mikhailo Drapati. He has a flawless reputation among soldiers, among officers. So this is really a good thing. And he replaced Yuri Halushkin, who actually let this happen. These are the dragon teeth, you know how they called those concrete big pyramids that should be placed there. They're just lying there on the road. How do you call that one? Not roadway, but okay. so it's lying next to roads, not actually blocking anything. Rick, I saw a report for 2 Patriots. They went to Germany and then will go to Ukraine. I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything like that. Morning, I don't know who gave me a membership, but thank you so much. Maria V, how you doing? I think I didn't mention your name for so long, but I've seen you in the chat recently. Sorry. Yeah, they're usually like, unfortunately, there's not enough time for me to respond to your every message or at least to your every name. This morning I heard the USA will give a Patriot. I didn't hear anything like that, but it would be cool if you guys, your government will finally give us a Patriot. Oh no, I've heard only the news that they start to consider talking about giving us the Patriot. Yeah, that's what I've seen. Yeah, believe it or not. Just Jimmy. Rick, thanks for heads up about power outage. At least we know you are safe if stream goes down. Yeah, guys, I think the probability of me being hit by missile is almost zero. Let's say less than 1%, I think. But anyway, if you lose me, that's probably a power outage. Оперативно-тактичне угруповання, ОТУ. So, operative tactical, how do you call it, group? Угруповання is really hard to translate. Now, let me actually check the translator. Is it? Not sure. Mikhailo was my dad's name. Irene. I'm sorry for your loss, because you said was. Usul is laying next to me, up against my hip. Purin, he's doing good. Awesome. Glad to hear. The Floki looking cat. A super stream will require a team to plan, organize, and execute. The team has to make a video trailer, poster, and text to promote the stream. Yeah, this is why it's too much work for just me, and I need to build up a team for that. Yeah, but I see what this year brings, and probably I will already, hopefully by the end of the year, by Christmas, I will have a bigger team. Let's see how it goes. And people outside the video will be needed to oversee technical issues. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I have to go. Bell covered. Thank you for being here with us, and see you on the next stream. Thank you for joining. Tune, how you doing? Rick, can you get some of those portable solar panels and or an EcoFlow so you aren't powerless? I mean, you should be able to stream when you want, edit videos, etc. I need to work on that. You're right. I've bought an EcoFlow, but it's not powerful enough, as I find out only about 2 to 3 weeks ago with the first power outage this year. Yeah, and I need to buy a new one, and it costs about $1,000 to $1,100. And for now, I cannot afford that, and I won't be launching a fundraiser for an EcoFlow for me. No, I'm not getting involved in this bullshit. So you know what I mean. Raising funds for equipment. Army needs it more, so I need to save up money for that. But like maybe by the autumn, I will get that one and probably donate my. But who knows? We actually maybe need 2 of them after all. So I'll keep it for now. And when I see that it's enough of the bigger one, I will donate the smaller one to the army, because sometimes they need those small ones too. Tank traps were never installed. They have been in the same place for some time. Yeah, Reptile. Exactly. That's what I'm displaying on the screen right now. Yeah, so that's it. What else am I missing? Guys, I want to actually talk to you about the dubs and the thing I discovered, and I want to try it this time. I know that YouTube won't be showing it much to the random people because YouTube is not promoting Ukrainian content as it was promoting it a year ago. Back then, my dubs were it was just above the clouds. I was so lucky that they were watched hundreds of thousands of times. Like, let's actually go and check the channel. Rick, stop saying I hate when I do that. Yes, Carlan's metal. And we need to go to my channel. Yeah, guys, subscribe to Ukrainian Stock. My friend Carlan is doing
Дуже скоро буде.
There he is. He joined me on the last Free Azov stream. It was so cool that he was with me there. Yulia was also there. So here is Dub Zolkin interviews. Yeah. So let's go here and check. Before, like last time, I've done that. No, first I will go to Zolkin's channel. Sorry for this chaotic approach, guys, but I didn't prepare to it like much. So what do they do here with their thumbnails? They actually change some words, some letters in the words. For example, мясо, which is meat, they changed S from the Russian S to English S. So they kind of censor some of the words for the algorithm. You see Россию with S. For the algorithm to not recognize it as possibly restricted content or the content that needs to be restricted. So what I want to try, I want to actually not put the adopt interview as I've done before here. Look at this. So adopt, you cannot see it like this. So you see this one is censored. It's been restricted by YouTube, unfortunately. But I think maybe also because of that, because in the name there is an interview with the Russian prisoner of war, all of that with the, yeah. So maybe algorithm wants to censor or restrict those that say now, like lately, like when they've started becoming not very friendly to Ukrainian YouTubers. And they maybe try to censor it. So on the thumbnail, I will put just a name dub number 12. I won't say a dubbed interview with the Russian conscript prisoner of war, with the Russian soldier prisoner of war, nothing like that. I will say dub number 12, for example, and then I'll put some summary. Like in the next one, this is going to be about the guy who actually came to Ukraine, got injured, bought himself a Mercedes by 3 million rubles. No, not himself, his mother, a Mercedes. Repaired his car, repaired his grandma's house, and then come back for more money. So that guy's summary is going to be something like, got Mercedes and came back, something like that. So, yeah. And in the name, probably also won't say things like prisoner of war or captivity. So I think maybe algorithm is actually banning those who say the obvious words like captivity, prisoner of war, or maybe Russian soldier. So I'm gonna try to play with that, because the last one you've probably noticed that I've done many versions of it. Look at this, like first one restricted 18 plus, then next one censored. I censored it with one thing, then I censored it with another thing, then I censored it even more, and it is still restricted. So maybe all of this is about the name now, who knows. Because what I noticed at Zolkin's channel is they usually, you see, they do it also with the name, like they change words, they change letters, and they try not to, you see, лицемер, отмороженный, they even, like, they put a lot of different English letters into the Russian text, so algorithm won't recognize any any of those things there. So that's my guess. Let's see if it works. Petra Olson said, "Oh my God, my ears! What happened there? My microphone is working. What happened, guys? Please don't forget to like the stream if you just joined it. This will help with engagement. YouTube knows the bad words in Ukrainian. Well, they speak Russian. It knows the bad words in Russian. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. YouTube knows the bad words. Instead of prisoner 4, maybe uninvited visitor. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. We will work on that. I see Jen is joining me already, but we need to choose another. Yeah. Hello, Jen. Now everyone can see and hear you. How are you doing?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Is it the Vyshivanka behind you?
This?
Yeah.
No, it's a blanket my mum made many years ago.
Mr. Kaplan, thank you for 20 gifted memberships. I needed to do that real quick, and now we can speak. So, I want you to introduce yourself. I mean, I know what you do, and I just want you to say it yourself, and also maybe in your, not in your, about your journey to Ukraine.
So my name is Jen Stout. I come from the north of Scotland, from the Northern Isles, actually, Shetland, and I've been a journalist for about 8 years. I previously worked on a local paper and at the BBC, so I've done radio, TV, print, but newspapers are my great love, which is maybe a dying art. When I was growing up, I learned Russian in school, which was quite unusual for someone in Scotland in the 1990s, 2000s. And I travelled to Ukraine and I travelled to Russia throughout my life and wanted to be a foreign correspondent, but these things are quite hard to get into. I ended up on a fellowship with the Alpha Fellowship, which had been going for about 18 years at that point for Brits and Americans and Germans. And because of that, I was in Moscow on 24th of February. Well, I was actually in Siberia, so
Wow.
in Gorno-Altaysk, which was far away. So we left after a few days. I mean, I would have left anyway. I didn't want to stay in that country. I had a lot of friends in Ukraine who were keeping in contact with me and describing what was happening to them in Kharkiv especially. I made my way to Vienna and then to Romania, where I wanted to cover the story, you know, from that border down on the southeast in the Danube. And I spent about 3 or 4 weeks there near Tilcha, Isacia. Found a really beautiful place in a very interesting situation. I mean, very terrible as well, but also I think the way that Romanians responded with so much warmth was it really stuck in my mind. From there, I got a little bit of training. I was just freelancing. So I was doing a bit of BBC radio, writing for a newspaper and doing some kind of long form essays, which is really my preferred thing. And then I went to Odessa at first on a military convoy. That was, so I guess like early April 22. And that started this long 2 years traveling around Ukraine and reporting as a freelancer. And really just like me and my rucksack and a donated flak jacket and a lot of help from Ukrainian friends especially, and with lifts and sofas and, you know, advice, and a lot of help from other correspondents, particularly the guys who have all a bit more resources. They're very generous with their time and their advice. I ended up putting all of these experiences and all my reporting into a book, which has just come out, and it's called Night Train to Odessa, covering the human cost of Russia's war.
I've actually added the link to, it's not Polygon, I don't remember the name.
It's Polygon, it's an imprint of Berlin, which is an Edinburgh publisher.
Yes.
To get it delivered as a hard copy is a little bit tricky at the moment in Ukraine, but you could get a ebook version for now.
I've added, first of all, Jen's website to the description of the stream, then the book page, the page on Polygon where you can buy the book, and third thing, I've added your Twitter to the description. You can also follow Jen on Twitter. Please do that. And yeah, we need to talk more about your book. Please tell me, maybe like in general, what is happening there in the book? Is it like the stories, like your story? I mean, there are more than just your stories. I won't be guessing. Please tell us.
Okay. I think you get two different kinds of book like this, and sometimes the reporter is almost invisible. You don't know what they're feeling, what they're thinking, how they got from this place to the other, who they're traveling with. And that's a very sort of straightforward reporting, because the rule is always never make yourself the story. It's not about you, and it shouldn't be about you. And I respect that. I appreciate that. And there's a lot of very good books that are more like that. I wrote this one very personally. I don't think I could have done it any other way. I had to go back a bit and explain what I was doing in Russia in the first place.
Yeah.
How I feel about Russia now, how I feel. I spend a lot of time in the UK persuading people that we are all involved in this war, that we should all take a stance and help Ukraine. And so this isn't just simply reporting. I wanted to put my views across. But also it was a chance to, there's always so much more material than you can ever publish in an article. And partly that's some of the people that I met that I wanted to draw a very full portrait of. And of course, sometimes that's about our friendship, how we met and how we sometimes work together, particularly Ukrainian friends. So I write a lot about my friend Ivana in Kharkiv, and about Victoria Amelina, who you'll remember was killed in Kramatorsk.
Yeah.
And the things that these these amazing women taught me. I learned so much because of the way I travel. I have time. I'm not being sent from one place to another, and so I can just hang out, talk at the kitchen table, go for a long walk, try to understand, because I'm very interested in identity, narrative, nation building. Who do we think we are? And there's no more interesting place than Ukraine to be at the moment. So the book is a combination of a lot of this reporting. I think it's quite rich in like place description, because I fall in love with places enormously. So I told you about this extraordinary part of Romania down on the Danube, and how it is there. I write a lot about Kharkiv because I've always loved Kharkiv, and I think it's just an extremely unusual and beautiful city, and a very varied architecture, very exciting kind of radical scene. And also about Donetsk, like especially Donetsk Oblast and the north of that area with the forests. And it's so badly damaged, of course, but I utterly, utterly love it. And partly it's just a love letter to these places and to the people and to the extraordinary resistance and strength of spirit that I found over the last 2 years. And it's structured around my journey, as I say, which I can almost say that word without wincing a little bit. But I'm on the move a lot. There's a lot of night trains. There's a lot of lifts and buses.
So you wanted to tell us you begin this with what you were doing in Russia in the first place, and what you were working on. Can you please tell us about that?
I was, the first 3 months of the fellowship, which had started in November 2021, was language study. So I had been going to school studying Russian language, which I was reasonably good at, not fluent though. My plan really, what I wanted to do in Russia was to go to Siberia and write about, or do research and writing about indigenous people, their relationship to the land, to their own history, their language, the colonization, which is so central to the Russian Empire. I'm not sure this would have been possible. It was a bit of a pipe dream. In general, I was too late. It was too late to do any kind of reporting that I wanted to do in Moscow. It wasn't really part of the program. We had some controls over what we could do. We weren't allowed to go to demonstrations, or anything that would kind of rock the boat. I found it a deeply unpleasant time, to be honest. Everything, the sort of hype for war was ramping up. People were more and more becoming, so brainwashed. And that stuff had always been there, of course. But when people that you think are just repeating phrases from the television, and you feel like you're going mad, and you just have arguments all the time. And it was quite paranoid as well, because I knew other Westerners who were being followed quite obviously by the security services. You don't really know who you can trust, and you don't realize how much that stuff's getting to you until you get out and feel this sort of huge weight lift off your shoulders. It was a very strange time. But I guess, it does, because I was there at that time, I can give a little bit of insight in the book into what was happening in Russia, the kind of the stuff that I was seeing on the TV, the narratives that people were coming out with,
Yeah.
And the stuff, right? The genocide in Donbass, Ukrainians full of Nazis, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. So you say you love Donetsk, and what was the first time you visited Donetsk? When was it?
Early May 22.
Early May? How could you visit Donetsk? Through Russia?
No, I was in Ukraine and I went to... Oh, the city. Sorry, do you mean the city or the...
Yeah, not oblast.
No, I haven't. Earlier about the oblast. So,
yeah, got it.
Kurakova, these places.
I thought you maybe have been there before the full-scale invasion.
No.
You haven't been there.
Absolutely not. No.
Got it.
I wouldn't work or go to Russian occupied territory for many reasons, not least of them moral.
Did you know that I'm actually from Donetsk, Makiivka?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I lived in Russian occupation since 2014 until 2019. Not for 5 years, but 4.5. And I needed to actually get out of there faster than that, but I wasn't grown enough mentally to get out of there. And when I finally grow up enough, I got out. And yeah, if I didn't do that, I'll probably be rotten somewhere on the field in Donetsk Oblast, because Russians were just grabbing people. Maybe I could have get out. Maybe I could have pay my way out, as some of my siblings did. I had a few friends who escaped Donetsk in the early 2022 with just corruption on the roadblocks of those so-called DPR Republic. They escaped, and through Russia they got out into Poland, some of them into Latvia, Estonia, and they were lucky. Not hopeful, like I think none of my friends that I know, none of the close friends who left there back in the days, I didn't. I won't say I didn't have many close friends left there, but not many of them got killed, or maybe I just don't know about that. Anyway, that's a dark place, and occupation is it's nothing good there. It's just degradation and
repression.
Regression.
I'm really sorry for what's happened to your home.
Yeah, it's tragic, and I really am hoping, like in 2022, in late 2022, there was such a lifted spirit, and we could see that yes, this day will come. Donetsk and Makiivka will be deoccupied, just like Kherson and Kharkiv Oblast. Everything is possible. But after 2023, Russians learned a lot. We can actually give them credit. They can learn on their own mistakes. So good.
Sure.
And they did that. And now they're doing one more offensive in Kharkiv Oblast. And unfortunately, I think we are not that good at learning on our mistakes, because fortifications in Kharkiv Oblast should have been better. And unfortunately, we didn't learn that lesson. But I don't want to get into this now.
Okay.
I want to hear to your story more, because I'm really curious. Who have you met? What have you seen through these 2 years? Because I think you've been to some close to the front line, right? You've been to Odessa. You've probably witnessed some of the rocket attacks or the consequences of them. You've probably, well, so curious. If I had the time to read books, I would definitely read yours.
Well, I tell you what, it's being abridged for Radio 4, for BBC Radio. And so a shorter version of the book will be broadcast in early June.
Amazing. So maybe even like a podcast and recording too?
Excuse me. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm planning to record a full audiobook. The BBC thing will be available online. It depends where you live sometimes to access it, but if I can, then I'll try and get the audio and share it, because I think it will be a nice thing to listen to, an interesting tale. Yeah. It's in sort of 5 15-minute parts. So it's broadcast each day of the week for a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it. So yeah, please tell us more. So curious. What have you seen for these 2 years? What, whom have you encountered? Maybe something that didn't go to your book, some exclusives, you know, or some of that. I mean, to not make any spoilers of the book. That's what I'm talking about.
I think a few spoilers are okay. That's all right. I mean, to be honest, Rick, I put everything into this book. I put all my heart and soul. I didn't really hold anything back, and I didn't take much out. So really most things that I did are in that book. When I first arrived in Odessa, as I said, it was with a military convoy, and it was this beautiful, beautiful spring day, the cherry blossom. And listen, I had dreamed all my life of going to Odessa. You know, I used to walk when I was stuck up in Shetland in the terrible weather, and I would walk around Odessa on like early Google Street View, and just dream that one day I could walk these same streets. I mean, really, like, such a romantic idea I had of it. And it's true, it is that beautiful. And so when I got there, of course, you know, you have a certain perception before you go to a war zone, and what you don't expect to find is so much warmth and humor and people laughing and having fun. All these volunteers that I was with, you know, but they were, I mean, sometimes people would just suddenly begin to cry because of some news that they had, and then they'd laugh again, and just the emotions were so high. But this sense of being together, this sense of having a common purpose, it was infectious, absolutely infectious. And I just remember walking around with my sleeves rolled up, listening to the bird song and talking to volunteers and thinking, I am so lucky to be here, you know, so lucky. Yeah, I had a few weeks in Odessa, maybe a month, and I was seeing someone who I'd met that first day. And I put some of this into the book because I think it's interesting. The experiences that he was having. He was volunteering to go and rescue wounded soldiers. So he would often come back from very dangerous places. And, you know, I'd have come back from a pretty long day, sometimes, as you said, with rocket strikes and watching bodies coming out of buildings and interviewing people. And yeah, you know, that was our lives at that point, and we could take some solace in talking to each other about anything else in the evening and trying to relax a bit. He was very against me going to Kharkiv or Mykolaiv or anywhere, frankly, and was horrified that I did go to Mykolaiv for a day, and then after a while I went to Kharkiv, which I'd been longing to do. There's a strange thing, like, it's so much harder to, and you'll know this for sure, it's so much harder to watch from afar than it is to actually be there, even if being there is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can talk about Kharkiv and all the places I subsequently went if you want me to just keep going.
Yes, I want you to keep going because,
okay.
Guys, I just want to ask you to ask questions, to ask Jen questions. You can tag me in the beginning of your message, and I think then I will not miss your question. I cannot promise, but please do that. But I want you to keep going, and then, like, maybe in 20 or 30 minutes, we'll ask you those questions. But I really want to know more, because that experience is so valuable, and not everyone can share that experience. So I cannot share that experience because I'm sitting in Kyiv for almost 2 years, and I I don't go anywhere. Planning to go to the front line together with Greg Terry and deliver one of 4 armored vehicles that they were raising money for together with Professor Gerdes. So yeah,
Great.
planning to go there and get that experience to hear some incomings and outgoings I hope I'm gonna be lucky not to hear any glide bombs falling down. But
I really hope so. I really hope so. Those things are terrifying.
But
Yeah.
the chance is pretty big that I will, because the Russians using them so so much. They're using so many of them these days. Like hundreds of them are falling on our towns and cities. And
On Kharkiv today, I know.
yeah, on
I know.
Kharkiv today, like 3 or 4 times already, and
Yeah.
killing so many people and
I know.
making so many people wounded. And the most painful is to see children being wounded from Russian attacks.
Yeah, it's obscene. It's obscene what they're doing. I enjoy frontline reporting. I've done a little bit, but actually, I mean, I think war is disgusting. It's abhorrent.
It is.
But I understand that fighting is necessary sometimes to defend yourself. I would just add that, you know. I can illustrate because I have, luckily, the book has picture plates, which is, you don't always get these, you know, so it's quite a coup because they're expensive, obviously. So this is, I'll just show you, like, for some stories. This is the wonderful Natalia Zubar in Kharkiv. She's an absolute hero of mine, a very indefatigable and strong, forceful person. She's currently in Kharkiv. She was someone that I met, you know, through somebody else, and I subsequently would travel around with her and her colleague. They're in the Maidan Monitoring NGO, and it was with them that I went to Vilhivka. So this is Kharkiv, early May 2022, and Vilhivka was one of the villages that had just been liberated. So, I mean, it was a mess, right? There was burnt out tanks and cars and bodies, and everything is half shot up and destroyed. And we went there to, I mean, I was just reporting, but then during sort of talking to people, people kept mentioning that a lot of the villages had disappeared. And we had to leave, but I said, can we go back? Because I want to understand what's happened here. Because we knew that, you know, they were taking people like with the filtration camps and stuff. And this wasn't quite like that, but I wanted to kind of nail it down. So we went back about 3 times, I think, and spent quite a lot of time in Vilhivka trying to talk to people. And this is my favorite kind of reporting, when you can go back and back and back. You're not just, you know, you're not just there and you get the thing and you leave. Because sometimes you need to win people's trust a little bit. I mean, people were so scared that the Russians might come back. So they would say, well, why would I talk to you as the Western journalist? And then the Russians come back and I get punished, or I get shot. Very good question. You know, why should they? The story I eventually did about that, so we talked to a few different people, and what seemed to have happened was that during the Russian occupation, so in March 22, the Russians had, you know, the Ukrainians were coming closer to liberate this place, and the Russians had gone door to door to people, telling them that they would temporarily evacuate them to a little bit further north, because they were going to do a massive airstrike. And they told people they'd be put in a bus and they wouldn't, you know, they'd still be in Ukraine, maybe Vovchansk or something. And what actually happened was that they put all these villagers, they made them walk really far first, on sticks, you know, people with disabilities, very elderly, walking for miles and miles. And then they put them onto Kamaz trucks. They loaded all these people onto trucks like cattle, put them on buses in Vovchansk, and lo and behold, straight over the Russian border. Some of the people realized, you know, the people that I'd spoken to, they were still there because they'd realized at the last minute, and this story just still chills me to the bone. Do you know, it just sounds like World War II. They'd realized at the last minute that this was probably a trick. And when they were kind of herded in that next village, they sort of slipped away and hid. They know everyone, it's small villages, so they hid in the garden of someone they knew there, with their kids, and watched as all their neighbors were herded onto trucks and driven away. And then, of course, these people were in Russia and they couldn't get back. A lot didn't even have their passports or their documents because they'd been told to leave in such a hurry. and they couldn't go back into Ukraine. They'd have to go this incredibly circuitous route, which only people with money could do. And a lot of people in those villages don't have that money. And it was just heartbreaking. And it's complicated because you can understand that maybe a sort of right at the bottom level of the command, that the lowest Russian soldier being told to do this actually thinks that he is taking people to safety. But, there's a lot more to that story about you need a team of investigative journalists to be looking at that, and who gave those orders, who took, because it's a war crime, of course, to remove people to the territory of the aggressor country. My reporting as one person, I can only ever really scratch the surface, and that can be frustrating. And then back to Kharkiv, I was doing more long reporting about this city, about its identity, its past and its future, because this really, really interests me. And it might seem weird to do this right in the middle of one of the heaviest bits of the war, it was still being bombed quite a lot at that point. But it's the whole point, isn't it? So I remember some guys that I knew, they said, "Come, we're going to change the street name in Moskovsky Prospect. Come along." I said, "What do you mean?" So I turned up in the morning, and they were on this big arterial road, Moskovsky Prospect, and they get out a ladder and a screwdriver, and they just take the sign down, and they posted a big picture of Georgy Skovroda onto this, that's what they want the street to be named. They didn't succeed, but they're posting this onto the chipboard that's covering, because this is right up at Konstitucja Plosha, so it's really Maidan Konstitucja, sorry. So it's really everything's damaged, all the windows gone, and they're pasting this stuff, or all the really interesting graffiti and poems that are pasted and written onto the damaged city. It's you're literally remaking the cityscape to make it Ukrainian, which of course it always was. And that's going on in people's own families and their lives as well. Realizing that your grandparents spoke Ukrainian, realizing some of the things that happened in your family, and switching language perhaps, which so many people have done.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fascinating place to be. Absolutely extraordinary. Yeah, so that was Kharkiv, May 2022. I then went to, and this might sort of highlight some of the problems with being a freelancer and completely alone most of the time. I did want to go to Donbass, not right to the front lines because I hadn't had the training. I wanted to get conflict environment training. But I ended up in Pakrovsk because I went to Dnipro and met someone in a bar and got a lift the next day at sort of 5 a.m. with some soldiers going to Pakrovsk. I spent a night there, got the evacuation train and wrote about that. I was at home. I went home to Shetland, which is very, very, very far away. So it was 1,600 miles for the summer, and then came back having done the hostile environment training, which is great fun. It's 3 days on a big farm, and all these marine guys sort of shout at you and put hoods on you and teach you how to remember things and how to bail out of a car when you're being shot at, and a lot of first aid, a lot of tactical first aid as well. So I really enjoyed that. And the next trip, I ended up traveling quite a lot with Pen Ukraine, who, well, it's a pretty extraordinary organization. They were doing a lot. They were going to liberated territories to take books to the libraries, or to just help people out, take jeeps to the front line, to the army. Just a lot of very useful activism, but centered around literature and books. And I ended up going with them to Kapitolivka, near to Izium. It was just after, you remember the mass graves in Izium in the forest?
yeah.
And it was after that. So I wasn't there when they exhumed the bodies, which I'm very thankful for. I don't think anybody wants that memory of that.
That's traumatizing, definitely.
Sure, yeah. But I don't know, sometimes the pain of the living is more difficult than the reality of the dead, isn't it? So we went to see the mother of Volodymyr Vakulenko, who was a poet and children's writer in Kapitolivka, and he'd been abducted during Russian occupation in March. At this point, they still hoped that he was alive, or his mother hoped. I think a lot of people thought he was probably dead, but maybe in a Russian prison, or in Olenivka in Donetsk. And she was such a kind and lovely woman, and so strong given like everything that she had been through, and so happy to see us all. It really struck me, like her warmth and her generosity. And this is not the first time or the last time that I experienced such generosity and warmth in Ukraine, particularly from older women. Yeah, I travelled around with them quite a lot, around like Bezruchy and Derhachi. I mean, these places actually in northern Kharkiv Oblast, which are now being so pulverized, so utterly destroyed by glide bombs, and from which people are starting to evacuate, which breaks my heart, you know, because I've been there and I know what they look like, and they've suffered so much for 2 years, and now this, you know, it's horrific. Yeah, so I did end up, as you said, I did some frontline reporting. One of it was going with a drone team to the Russian border, so north of Kharkiv, and they were operating in kind of what had been Russian trenches until they were pushed back. And I mean, some of that was really fun. You know, it's like a team of young guys. They're all like IT specialists as usual, and setting off this reconnaissance drone from the top of a pickup truck, like driving really, really fast on the back of a pickup truck over the fields, which is just like my childhood, you know. It's actually just quite fun. And then, you know, being reminded very viscerally that this is not a game, because then we heard this noise, you know, this zzz of a drone, and it's not ours, right? It's a Russian drone. There's nowhere to hide. All the trees are blown up, and you don't know if it's seen you, if it's going to bomb you, and that was very scary, very unpleasant. That was on that team was a young woman called Vladislava Chernich. She was 28 years old. I'll show you a picture of her. Is this Vlada here?
Oh, just a second. It was freezing now. Yeah, I see her.
She was. I've never seen anyone so like focused and determined on her job and her work. And I later found out that she had insisted, like so hard, fought to get into that, but it's in Hatia Brigade. That finally they sort of relented and took her, and then discovered that she was a really good shot. So she was the first woman admitted into their field section. 3 weeks later, she was in near Bakhmut, and she was killed in shelling, trying to rescue one of her comrades. She was 28 years old. So yeah, I think we should say people's names and remember them, what they did.
Can you please say her name once again?
Chernich, Vladislava Chernich.
Vladislava Chernich. I thank her for her service.
Yeah.
It's really hard because I mean I cannot understand. I was lucky yet. I mean, for now, I am lucky. I think this won't last forever. To not lose any of my acquaintances or friends who are serving, and I don't imagine how lucky you need to be to really not experience them dying. But yeah, this is why I cannot imagine how it is. But of course, I lost some not even people yet. Wow, I'm the luckiest person alive. I mean, I lost my 2 grandmas when I was a kid, but I didn't actually realize. I mean, I didn't realize the loss back then. I was like something 7 and 10 years old, and I didn't understand that pain. I lost my cat last year. Her name was Floki, and it's such a pain. It strikes me until this day. It's been half a year, but I cannot imagine how it strikes. I mean, probably it's the same pain, but yeah.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of people very close to me in my life over a long period, actually. So I'm very familiar with grief and the strange things it does to you.
Yeah. Just, I mean, it's just such a tragedy that the very young and bright people are dying, and yeah, most of them are like that, because especially people like first first months of war, there were mostly volunteers, like, and most of them are, you know, initiative people. Most of them are people who care, who are not indifferent, and
Yeah.
that's the best of Ukrainians.
Well, they're the people that Ukraine especially needs for the future. You know, for building.
And those
Yeah.
who are, you know, indecent, those who are greedy, they sit in the rear and just and surviving. And the best people are not surviving and losing their health. Also, we need not to forget so many soldiers that were injured, that were getting Akubara trauma, and it is also changing their life. Maybe if not forever, but for a long time, and changing it significantly. There's you cannot call it a full life, unfortunately. This is all a huge tragedy, and this year it is very hard to bear with all of this, because you see that our partners are not mobilizing to the scale they would need to do it, and this is a threat to all of them. I mean, the governments, of course. I'm not talking about the people from all over the world who come here to Ukraine, who help with donations, with just attention, you know, because keeping attention on Ukraine for 2 years is not easy. And we have my community, we have so many other communities who keep following this, who keep supporting, who keep giving the words of support, or keep donating to the countless fundraisers I have for the army. And this is just, this is just in priceless. So I'm so lucky to have you guys. Thank you. I call
Well, you know,
my,
I think my government could do more, absolutely, and also my society. There are lots of people here who understand why it's important to support Ukraine, and I've been very proud of, you know, we're having a fundraiser soon in Shetland, in the islands. We've taken a huge number of jeeps over, like I drove a jeep from Scotland to Ukraine, and there's a lot of that happening, just like practical solidarity. But for so many people, like it's distant to them. Do you know, they don't understand why they should care. It's far away. It's far away. And, you know, like I feel a lot of echoes with the 1930s are happening right now. And we have a narrative. Every country has its great narrative about the Second World War. Our narrative was we were always together and completely against Hitler. It's not true at all. It's absolute nonsense. Most people in this country, in the early parts, you know, they didn't care about Czechoslovakia.
You can swear here.
They didn't give a shit about Abyssinia, Czechoslovakia, Poland.
Yeah.
You know, it took a long time for that kind of, you know, for everyone to get behind that idea that we were going to fight.
I think it took bombs to fall on your head to actually realize, and that's how it happens with any country. So I think Russia should only start invading other countries, or drop rockets or glide bombs on them. Then only then people will completely realize that it was all the time a threat to them too. Like most of the people. I mean, a lot of people realize it these days, and you are among them, Rollers. Thank you. So Rick Rollers is a name of my community members. We had Dick Dawson come into the stream once and saying, "Hey, you know what? I have a name for your community. I'll call them Rick Rollers." And it's a pretty cool name. You remember the prank Rick Roll back in the days? And every time someone buys coffees, we have this notification and song is playing. So if I'm gonna be singing along with that one, you must know that I'm just thanking someone for buying coffees. So yeah, I actually started to talk about this because the partners are not given enough support right now, and it all mostly depends on grassroots efforts. Of course, governments are given support, but it's not enough. And for many people around the world, it's really hard to realize how much we need in this scale of war. How many vehicles, how many tanks? Like U.S. provided the Abrams tanks. 31 tank was destroyed in one attempt in 2022 to storm a village in Kherson. 31 tank was destroyed. And that's what was given for more than a year from U.S. The tanks that were given to us. So it's all like really hard to explain to people, to give the numbers, and most of the people, they don't listen for us to explain this. They actually, as you say, it's far from them. They don't care. They don't understand why they should care. Understand why they should care, and that's. I think I was one of them back in the days. I'm not proud of that, but I was the one of those who's not interested in politics before 2022. Russia invaded my hometown in 2014, and it was not enough for me to become interested in politics. That's such a fucking shame, and I just don't know. And I know that's I know in my own on my own skin, that for you to realize something, you see, bombs were fallen at my home in 2014, and I didn't realize everything completely back then. Never gonna let you down. Holy Oblation, thank you for 5 coffees. Yeah, that happened. Holy Oblation did it just to for me to sing. I know Holy Oblation is a legend.
Well, I think you're being a bit hard on yourself, Rick.
Well, I might be, but I want to express my feelings here. So, I don't know. Maybe you want to continue that thought?
There's a lot of obstacles in the way for people to become political, particularly if it might be dangerous for them. It's very easy for me. Growing up in the UK, I was always very political. I was active, protested against the Iraq War. But it was easy for me. There were no consequences. There were no consequences at all, really. I was arrested once, but I was let go because I was protesting nuclear weapons. If you're in Russian occupation,
oh yeah,
that's not as easy. That's not as easy, And also like to figure out what the truth is in a situation where media isn't free and a lot of propaganda and disinformation is flying around. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see, the thing is, like, I was always focused on myself and on the interests, and was never thinking that I should become like an active citizen of my country. But now I realize that if you are not active and not interested in it, then okay, it's not like just politics will become interested in you and use you. No, not only this. It's like then the country, any country, country's prosperity, growth, development depends only on its citizens. If citizens want to actually decide something in their country, because there are countries like Russia where they are okay with Putin and any other ruler. Putin doesn't matter much. If not Putin, there would be some other Yeltsin or some other
Patrushev.
dude. Patrushev, yeah.
I think Patrushev is scarier than Putin.
Oh yeah, and
that guy's completely insane.
And the dude, Prigozhin, could be the ruler of Russia, and he could be also invading the country. He's nothing different from Putin. I mean, he was different because he started to tell the truth, but it was also part of his interest. And this dude could be a ruler, and Russians don't care. And if we want some growth and prosperity for our country, then we should be involved in politics. We should be the voice of the changes. And that's what I realized. And it's not just like politics will use you, as I usually say. No, that's simplifying all of it. If you want uh, any good future for yourself, your family, you need to actually, you know,
Take a
decide
role.
something, rule, and you need to do it with your voice.
Yeah. I dedicated this book. I spent a long time thinking about what I should write. You know, when you write your first book, you're like, it's such a heavy thing of like, who should I dedicate it to? Of course, I want to dedicate it to my mother or her memory. Blah, blah. But actually, one thing about my mum was that she.
Sorry. Thank you.
One thing not just my mum, but quite a lot of women who had a big impact in my life was that they were always striving so hard. They were always fighting for things to be better, whether in the small scale, on the local scale, in the community, or in national politics, in environmental politics. And so in the end, I went for this dedication, which reads, "For all those fighting so hard to make things better." And that was a way of me nodding to all the Ukrainians that I have met who are working so hard to build, not just to fend off Russia, but at the same time to build a really great country, to build a society that's strong and united.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can only be done by you. Like, you always got to begin from yourself, right? We have this saying here in Ukraine. So if you want any change, start working on your behavior, on your attitude, and only then you will see some positive change. Guys, I see those coffees. There were more coffees just from Tune. Just now from Tune. So the one from Andreas said, "Thank you, Jen, for sharing your stories with us." Next one from Tune, 5 coffees. "Jen is right. Don't be so hard on yourself, Rick. You do a big difference. I do it now, but I could have done it when I was until my 30 years old, like even 31. I've spent 31 years of my life without making any change. That's a shame." You know, it's not being hard on yourself. It's just like regretting a bit that I've spent so many years without any change. I mean, I could have, moved to Ukraine earlier and start doing something like this, but it took. Anyway, I got some experience there in occupation, and some lessons were learned, and it wouldn't make me who I am today, of course. So
exactly. Also, some people don't make a change in their lives until they're like 50 or 60, and they would listen to you and say, "God, he was only 30." So young.
Well, yeah, I just see some guys like Sternenko. You know Serhiy Sternenko, right?
No.
Ukrainian activist, volunteer. Now he is the number one provider of FPV drones for the front lines. He's raising funds. He's my role model basically. But he was politically active when he was like 20 or 19, and he was going to the protests. He was actually fighting vatniks back then. Even, I'm not sure, maybe even before 2014, but since 2014 he was super active, and he was among the protesters in Odessa who stopped the pro-Russian protesters back then in May 2014. And like, the dude is showing the example, and he's leading a big part of our nation, definitely our generation here in Ukraine. So yes, Ternenko is on YouTube, guys. You can go and watch. He's posting videos every day. He's working so hard. Like, this is crazy to post a video every day and actually provide army with hundreds of drones every day, FPV drones.
Yeah, I am put to shame by that. I know so many people in Ukraine who I just have no idea how they do all this stuff. Like, Volodymyr Yermolenko and his wife Tatiana Okharkova, they are both, they're scholars and writers, academics. He teaches classes, and then like running Pen Ukraine, also doing broadcasts, podcasts, videos all over the country in English, French, and Ukrainian, right? And they have some kids, and like, I just every time I'm like, guys, how do you do any of this? I don't. And they often, they go abroad and they talk to people in Paris, they talk to people in the UK, about supporting Ukraine, and they raise money for vehicles and drones to send to the army, which they personally deliver. And I'm just in awe of them, you know.
That's insane. Like, I envy those people, I'll be honest, because I don't have that much energy, especially lately when I was working hard to become, as I say it, a full-time roller. Full-time on YouTube only since 1st of April. I worked hard on it, and I quit my job. Now I'm working even more. And like for the last 2 weeks, I was, I think, hopefully in the end of my adaptation period, and I felt burned out, like everything starts to lose any sense. But this week started working on the dubs. By the way, did you know that I am dubbing into English the interviews with prisoners of war? Yeah, I really want to keep doing it, and doing so many fundraisers, and creating more content. It takes so much time. But this week I said no, I am dedicated to finish this one, because it's been dragging for 3 months now. It's like, if I was working only on that, I could be posting an interview like every 2 weeks at least, like 2 times per month. Right now it's like once per 3 months. But yeah, I started working on this. People were asking me about merch, and I started working on this today too. And it feels like I stopped procrastinating many things and got back to work, and it energized me too. Like seeing that I can do some things that I've been putting to for tomorrow. Like I can do them today, and that inspires and brings energy.
You're no use to anyone if you get burnt out and exhausted and sick. And this was a lesson I had to learn, because always in my head I was like, I can do anything. I can pick up this very heavy rucksack and just walk around Ukraine and go on every night train and never sleep. And of course, like, I cannot, do you know, and it took a lot out of me, and I did get sick and I did get burnt out. So I'm trying. Yeah, I should have been in Lviv Media Forum actually this week. Today I should have been traveling, and I couldn't go because I have a chest infection, which I picked up in Kharkiv like months ago. So I am at the age of 35 finally getting better at like pacing myself and trying to take a break, because I have a lot of work to do, and I can only do it if I'm well, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's so you know what that is. All of that.
Yeah.
Where was I going? I wanted to ask you the question from Possum Nafo. Jen, when a place is under attack, what is the most important stuff they need?
Generators, diesel for the generators, water tanks. Is this what you mean, like for civilians to survive in this situation when the gas and the light is cut?
I think the question, I think Possum means that, but I think first thing they need is evacuation, probably. If you're talking about the attack like right now on Vovchansk in Kharkiv Oblast, then they need to evacuate, because civilians are only the obstacle there for the military to fight in that town. Because if you know that in that house there are civilians, you cannot actually use it as a position, and you need to take care of them. I've heard a lot of stories from our soldiers that they lost some brothers in arms just because they were evacuating civilians. If they were not doing that, if they left at the moment there was evacuation beforehand.
I know. It's a really difficult question, because I would often be in places that were under heavy shelling, like Siversk, for instance, and a lot of people they get used to it and they don't want to leave. And they don't want to leave for lots of reasons, and one of them is that they don't really have enough support to do so. It's very patchy. Maybe there's an NGO that will find them somewhere to live, but if it's just like they don't really have any money, their pensions are very low, and if they go to Dnipro and the rents are so high, I mean, you can understand why they don't want to go, because they've seen their neighbors do that and come back because they were so poor, and it was unbearable. So but as you say, like, it's for military to defend that territory. You can't do that easily if there are civilians there. So I agree with you. Evacuation is necessary, but evacuation with a destination, not just wherever. Yeah, dog and cat food. I think volunteers usually take some of this with them because animals get left behind, and it's heartbreaking, and they need to be fed. So I would usually have some dog and cat food when I was driving.
There's another question from AJ Lahinska. What is support for UA like in Scotland now? Considering how Scotland had many Ukrainian Polish veterans in World War II who came over with KP2. What is KP2? It took a wee while for their proper recognition. Thank you, AJ.
I do not know what KP2 is, so maybe they can enlighten us. I'd say support is still... I'm looking out my window and I can see a big Ukrainian flag just out of a tenement window down there, and you see that a lot still. That's good. There are lots of Ukrainian refugees here. They could have more support from the government. We also have a housing crisis, which makes things quite difficult. So for a long time, hundreds of people were being accommodated on some old cruise ships in Edinburgh and elsewhere, which is not ideal. But yeah, I mean, it's gone off the agenda, of course. And then we have this particular problem, which is not particular to Scotland, but it's a problem all over the place, which is that some parts of the, say, more Stalinist left reproduce a lot of Russian propaganda. And I come from the left politically, and I think the real left is the people expressing solidarity with Ukraine, international solidarity, trade unionists joining up. But yeah, I mean, sometimes people tell me the most unbelievable nonsense, and it's just straight from propaganda, and it's amazing that people will tell me this. And I say, right, but, I've been in Ukraine, I've been in Russia, so I can tell you that stuff's not true. And they're like, well, how do you really know? I mean,
yeah.
So we have a bit of this as a problem, I say, as well. Yeah.
That's how propaganda works. That's crazy. By the way, I wanted to ask you, before, since 2014, before 2022, for 8 years, what did you think about this Russian invasion? What did you think it was here?
Well, I thought it was wrong and an illegal act. Yeah. Are you asking because I still went to Russia anyway?
That's one thing. And secondly is a lot of people are telling me this, that they were under the influence of Russian propaganda at some extent. They were thinking not that Russia is right, but that it's not that simple. Everything's complicated. There's probably some Donbass people who wanted to uprise because they didn't want Ukrainian government. You see, I'm trying to copy the Russian accent because I'm speaking the Russian narratives here. Anyway,
Very good.
yeah, please tell me what was it there like, maybe for you personally and in general in Scotland back then?
I didn't believe any of that. So I believed that it was a illegal invasion because I understood, I suppose, the context and the history more. But yeah, a lot of people here, if they knew anything about it, and really most people just didn't, because there was this thing of well, it's some war-torn post-Soviet grey country over there. We don't really need to care. Oh, it's some kind of civil war, everyone hates each other and that's awful. And that civil war narrative is very insidious, isn't it? Because it does suggest that on the one side, there's all these people that want to be part of Russia, and on the other side, there's all these, and it's just not true. So I would try and, share a lot of informative articles. There was a lot on, I think, Open Democracy Russia had a lot of good reporting. But really nobody cared at that point, frankly. I mean, I did because it was my whole life had been focusing and learning about history, especially in Eastern Europe. But it's not normal.
Well, I thank you for actually trying to bring the truth to people back then, because we lack it then so much. At least now, but you see, even if people, like not people, I would say governments of the countries realize that it's all obvious now. Russia just wants to grab our territory, just wants to kill any Ukrainian that will stand in the way, and then use all the Ukrainians that are going to be in occupation to throw them on the next country as a cannon fodder. And you see, it's still, even with this, even with seeing everything clearly, they are not ready to go all in. Of course, there's a nuclear war fear, yes, but considering how much Putin is bluffing, and I don't think they are ever gonna use nuclear weapons here in Ukraine. Like, of course, there's a chance, but it's so tiny, and I'm not sure it's gonna lead to the global nuclear war. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this?
No, I don't think they would. Look, there's a lot of bluffing. I think the idea that Russia will do whatever Russia can get away with, and it'll go further and further, and then look around and say, did anyone react? Is anyone going to stop us? Oh, no. Okay. Next.
Yeah.
You have to stand up to that. You have to. It's very simple. And as you said, now no one can pretend that they don't know what Russia is. Like they've said their genocidal intent on television again and again and again. Like all the evidence is there. I'm not saying that you would actually be able to prosecute it as genocide in the criminal courts, because that's a very high bar and very complicated. But yeah, we know what they are. We know what their aims are. It's so obvious to me. I don't understand that other people struggle with it. And that's, I mean, look at Germany. Do you know this strange legacy of being scared of Russia, cooperating with Russia, and saying, oh, we can't, maybe not attack him because you might use them in Russia, or we couldn't do air defense because we don't know what he might do. I mean, it's a ridiculous narrative. It is slowly changing, I guess, in Germany and other countries. But it's very frustrating.
But not enough to give us Taurus missiles.
Look, I think the shameful thing is that Ukraine has been given enough to cling on and never enough to win.
Yeah.
And the cost of that is so high. And it comes with all these warm words of support that are meaningless if that's all you're giving.
Yeah. You guys cannot imagine how angry I get when I see another sign of that, and what words I'm using. For example, when I call to Blinken, I'm not calling him, but you see how I call him, yeah?
Direct line.
Yeah, so I won't say it here publicly, but between me and my wife, I'm not holding myself back,
I understand.
Because it is such a shame, and it is such a disgrace.
Look, I'm furious. I'm furious all of the time. I've got one eye on Telegram, right? And I can see that in Kharkiv was just some more explosions, probably some more glide bombs. How bad does it have to get? Is Kharkiv just abandoned? Do we just let this happen?
It seems like they don't care enough. Like they don't care much. Like I think US is capable of giving at least 2 Patriots for Kharkiv. As I've heard from some of the Ukrainians, that US wasn't actually giving us Patriot systems. It was Germany, it was Netherlands, another system from Germany. Maybe you have some other information. Was US giving us any Patriot systems?
I don't know. I don't know precisely. I mean, I tend to, it's not my area of specialism to list all the military hardware.
I actually hear it from Sternenko, and I mean, he's not saying without checking it twice or 3 times.
Okay.
He's not saying anything like that, so he probably checked, and probably he is right. I tend to believe him. So, what about at least the
They've been
first system?
promised. They've been promised on Friday as part of the package, but
I also didn't see that. I've seen the rockets, the missiles for Patriots. It's also very important, and I thank US for that. But rockets isn't enough for us. We need damn 7 systems to at least, as Zelensky was trying to not Zelensky, but actually it was an idea in the European Parliament to stop the budget, how do you call it, approval, right? To block the budget approval until Ukraine gets those 7 systems. But
I mean, the Estonians have been talking in the last few days very seriously about using their own armed forces to sort of help the rear for Ukrainian troops. And there's talk of, it's this incremental thing. It just needs to be faster. Talk about having air defense, Western air defense in Poland or Romania, but defending Ukraine, because then you're not deploying on the ground. But then the response is always, oh well, how will Russia react? How will Russia react? I mean, what more are they going to do?
After operation in Israel, Zelensky actually himself reacted on that pretty. When Iran was striking Israel with many missiles and Shahed drones, he was reacting like, now we see what is the real power and unity of NATO if they want to do it. So is it really like no wish to help Ukraine? So yeah, kind of looks like a double standard, and Zelensky said it himself in one of his addresses. Like, it seems a double standard right now, and that's a shame. That's another.
I think it's particularly tragic that, and we should have. I mean, I guess people saw this coming, but you remember the joy and relief when Congress did approve that aid package. And a few people were saying, well, do you know what Russia's, because it's going to take a while before that comes. So of course they're going to use this time to absolutely do as much damage as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, whether they're softening up Kharkiv for a ground invasion, from what I understand, it's unlikely, because they couldn't do it last time and they can't do it this time. Or they're just trying to make life there unlivable. And that's my big fear. I have lots of fears, obviously, that, they actually invade and my friends can't get out and they get caught. And yeah, there are so many horrors in this war and possibly so much more to come.
Yeah, that's another tragic thing about this, because this is not the end, and who knows for how many more years we're gonna keep losing people, any kind of people, civilians, and the best of them, volunteers on the front line. And Allah is there in the chat saying 2 Legends live, huge hug.
Oh, Allah.
So yeah, please tell us, where do you know Allah and kids from St. Petrivci from? Not kids, students. They are grown-ups.
I've known Allah for many years. She's been a great friend. As I said, I had so much help when I was reporting in Ukraine, and Allah was like always there for me. Do you know, when I'm like, I can't buy a train ticket because the app won't do that, she'd just be like, Jen, I sorted out.
So you met her in Odessa?
Yeah, we met years and years ago. But we kind of kept in touch ever since. And yeah, and then she invited me. So the last time I was in Kiev, was it December? She'll correct us if we're wrong. She invited me to come along to the school, and it was just blew me away. Like, this school, the teachers there are doing such a great job. Really, I mean, they're like they're really almost radical in what they're doing, and I mean in a good way.
They're very progressive.
Yeah, very progressive, maybe even breaking some rules. I don't know, like really thinking about the kids and their emotional state and how they can make the atmosphere, the surroundings better, and to help them and support them. Just wonderful people who've gone through so much. So I had a great, and the students are like the sweetest, the loveliest, really, really great. I can't wait to go back and see them.
Did they do a podcast with you?
No, I don't. I wasn't there long enough. I had to go and. Go and report.
Then you gotta visit one more time at least. and do a podcast with them. I did, and they're taking it very professionally, and it was a great experience. Yes, the
Listen,
teachers.
there are so many things I want to be doing right now in Kiev and in Kharkiv and in Odessa, and sadly I have to stay in the UK, well, in Scotland for the next few months at least, because I've got so much book stuff to do. But I hope I can come back in the autumn.
Well, your book is a very important thing. Also, share an experience from Ukraine, from this war is also very important. And thank you for that, because I really hope that your book will be sold massively. That's what I am wishing for you. Yeah.
Thanks.
And yeah, I would love to read it someday too. What else?
Or listen to it on the radio.
I'll listen to it. Yeah, that's also a good thing.
Yeah.
So I will ask you, when should I ask you for a link to one of those pieces, approximately?
Which pieces for the radio stuff?
Yeah, for the radio stuff.
It starts on the 3rd of June on
3rd of June.
Radio 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in the beginning of June, I will ask you for a link, okay? If you don't mind.
And also by then I will have, I hope, recorded the audiobook. I'm recording it myself, so I need to wait until my cold is gone a bit. And so that'll be available as well to listen to the whole book as told by me in my strange accent.
That's better. That's what I'm gonna do. When is it approximately coming out?
I don't know yet. Get back to me. Soon.
I will be asking you like time to time. Jen, is it out yet? No?
Get on with it. Yeah.
We have a funny comment there. Rick's Rollers book club special. Can you recommend some books about this war, maybe?
Sure. Well, of course, I would recommend. Well, first the poetry that Victoria was writing. Victoria Amelina. She wrote some very beautiful poetry. Some of it was translated. Some of it was translated into English. Yeah, I'll find a link to send you. I mean, obviously, I think Serhii Plokhy's books are extremely important for understanding Ukraine and
Serhii,
understanding.
Once again,
Plokhy.
please.
Plokhy.
Plokhy.
Yeah. The Gates of Europe and the Russo-Ukrainian War, the two books he has. And they're just, I mean, they're definitive. But he's also, I mean, you know, he's this great and impressive historian, but it's not dry, it's full of feeling. It's full of anger and conviction and, feeling. So I recommend those.
The Gates of Europe and the Russo-Ukrainian War, right?
Yeah, those are his.
These books.
Yeah. He wrote a great book about Chernobyl as well. So Chris Miller, who's now at the FT, he used to be at Politico. He moved to Bakhmut years ago when he was young with the Peace Corps. And so he knows that city well, or what was that city, which doesn't exist anymore. And he's covered the war extensively as a journalist for the last 9 years. And he's written a book called The War Came to Us. And it's very, very good also.
Christopher Miller?
That's the one.
Is he also the same as producer? No, that's probably a different Chris Miller. Okay, American journalist. So Kyiv Post. He was a part of Kyiv Post back in the days. Financial Times. Yeah. Chris Miller. I think I've heard something about him on Twitter, but not probably good things. Yeah.
Okay.
that was.
Well, people love to throw shit at journalists all the time, so I'm not surprised. There's always someone unhappy with your reporting and thinking that you're biased in one way or another.
Yeah.
I think you can say about Chris that he writes with great love for Ukraine. You know, he's not sort of parachuting in and disappearing again. He lives in Ukraine and he loves it very much, and you can feel that in his book.
Ukraine. I'm still not sure that it is him, the same Christopher Miller that I've heard, but I'll have to do a research. Who else can you recommend? Whose book?
You put me on the spot.
Maybe We can move to another topic, no problem. If you don't want to.
No, I can just never remember all the books that I've been reading. I mean, I grew up reading a lot of war correspondence from the Second World War, and they had a big influence on me. So John Steinbeck, I loved reading, and Martha Gellhorn. And they wrote with this very very human, very lyrical, and very compassionate. Like they make you feel like you're there with them, and they don't judge the people that they're writing about, but they're very principled. And I mean, particularly Martha Gellhorn, she was writing about Spain in the 1930s, and she was almost a campaigner for that cause, which, you know, it was a fight against fascism, so you can understand why. So yeah, these people had a very big influence on me.
Thank you for sharing. Guys, I also show you on the screen right now the website of Jen. If you joined the stream after I was mentioning that, you can go to the description of the stream. There's Jen Stout website. Here you see home, about, and CV articles, and the book page here, the page about the book, I mean, photography also. By the way, I really like that photo of you. I was hesitating and wanted maybe to use it. Where is it? About and CV, probably at the bottom.
Yeah, there's some photos at the bottom.
Yeah, that one.
Do you mean the one with the tulips?
No, you sent me the one with the tulips, but I wanted to use the one to next to it, on the yellow background.
The one where I look really angry.
Yeah. I wanted to use that one, but you didn't give it to me, so I thought, no, I better use the one that you sent me.
The one, I don't mind.
To actually, you know, like that was your wish. Next time you're here, I'm gonna use that one.
Okay. Or maybe next time I'll have some better pictures of myself that aren't me scowling angrily.
Guys, here you can actually find the link to the book, Because Night Train to Odessa, new book. Here, let me show it to you. Come on, work website. You can click here on Polygon, and you will see the book is available for 17.99 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a great website, okay, guys. Like I built it myself, and it doesn't look beautiful, but all the information is pretty much there.
I think it looks fine. It looks modern, at least, because there's a website I use for auctions. It wasn't updated like for 15 or 20 years. It looks like the beginning of 2000s. Yours looks like beginning of 2020s. So like only about
Good.
a few years ago, which is still modern, very much. So that's just simple, you know. That's only a book about the book there. Then the author, pretty cool and simple. All that is needed is there. So guys, you can go there and buy a book. What else can I say?
Well, there's a lot of my work, you know, before 2022, which was not about Ukraine. So there's a lot of other stuff up there. I have a lot of photographs of Shetland, where I come from, as well as of Ukraine, and some radio articles and documentaries that I've made. So I've had a very varied career, which was very useful for learning how to.
While the stream was going, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just noticed in the chat your own emoji appeared. Andreas Lach made you an emoji there. Andreas, thank you. If you can open the stream on other device, if you have some other device next to you, maybe on the phone, you can see the emoji there. YouTube? I can send you the link on Telegram if you want. Or you can find Rick the Ukrainian YouTube channel there.
I am doing that as we speak.
Yes.
But now I'm having to watch some ads about Union of Gnomes.
Oh yeah, guys, sorry for the ads. I decided to do an experiment and see if my streams and videos receive less views lately because of demonetization being turned off. So yeah, today you will see some ads. Do you see your own emoji?
That's amazing. Wow.
Andreas says, sorry, Jen. Yeah, that's what Andreas is doing.
No,
he's
I think that's really funny.
he's very good at emojis and have some good emojis ideas. And when we have the new guest on the stream, he always does makes an emoji of the guest. Pretty cool.
Great. Well done. Thank you. I'm honored. Yeah.
Thank you, Andreas. Also, I am showing the page right now, the website, and you see St. Petrivci kids
Yeah.
there. There is Vladislav, Lisa, and I don't know the rest of the kids. I met only them, and also I met Darina, I met Anastasia, and I met I think I forgot the name of the last girl. I think she will forgive me for that.
I'm just seeing in the comments that Pierre Dupont is saying that he met me in Siversk when he said, I met Jen last year when she thought she was going to Chasiv Yar.
Oh yeah,
And this is actually quite a funny story.
Can you tell us the story?
Well, it's funny. I find it funny. I think my friends and family wouldn't find it very funny because it's. So I was in Kramatorsk. It was April, maybe 23, April last year, or March, and I was, working like independently. So there were some evacuations happening from Chasiv Yar and also from Siversk and all these places. I phone up the guy, explain who I am in Russian, and ask if I can come along. And he says, yeah, sure, come to the Slavyansk petrol station tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So I do. And I was early because I don't like being late. And I wanted to get one of those really good like ginger teas that you can get from the petrol station. And there was a convoy like already there, like all these jeeps and guys with press jackets. So I thought, shit, I'd better get in. And they were kind of a bit confused, but they said, okay, well, fine, yeah, jump in. And we were driving for about 20 minutes, and I noticed I started to have a very bad feeling. I noticed that we were driving in the opposite direction from Chasiv Yar. We were going north, and I had only, at that time, there's those those insurance maps that one bit's red and one bit's green. And I said to the editor that I was writing the piece for, oh, it's fine because Chasiv Yar is still green. It's fine. It's not so dangerous. I mean, it's nonsense. Of course, it's dangerous. But this was how I persuaded him. Whereas Siversk was absolutely red zone, So eventually, in the car, I say, I say, guys, this is a funny way to get to Chasiv Yar. And they sort of turn around and they say, we're not going to Chasiv Yar. And then someone else says, who are you? I think, oh God. And I sort of explained that I've just got in the wrong convoy, and I was supposed to be with Vlad and the White Angels, and they can't really like chuck me out at that point because we're on the middle of this like terrible road on the way to Siversk. And like in the end, it was fine. I talked to it was Baza, the organization that was helping to evacuate people. They do a lot of really good work, and they didn't mind that I was there. But I think there was a lot of international journalists there, and quite a few people were really confused as to what the hell I was doing with no fixer and getting in the wrong convoy. But actually, I mean, Siversk was really, really interesting. There was quite a bit of shelling just when we were standing outside the hospital talking to some babuses outside, and there was a lot of, so we all had to run into the basement. And I met some interesting people, interviewed them. But yeah, I mean, that's, I think when you're traveling and working like that, then you can end up getting in the wrong convoy.
I met Pierre when he was in Kyiv for a day or two. He was actually traveling together with Jonathan Pierce. Do you know him, Jonathan? No?
No.
He's a YouTuber. He has multiple sclerosis, and he traveled to Ukraine and actually traveled along the front line together with Greg Terry, a US. He's also a YouTuber. He's a preacher, YouTuber, and volunteer here in Ukraine who actually delivers a lot of medical, not equipment, goods, like tourniquets or combat gauze to the frontline soldiers. And I'm going on the trip next, as I've told you already, either this month, so probably next, because those armored vehicles have been prepared. As always, all the deadlines were outdated. When the how do you call them? When the seller of military equipment is selling you something, they usually go over the deadlines,
Okay.
unfortunately. So yeah, when he's going to be coming, we're going to be going there. But I started all that from the trip of Jonathan Pierce, who came here to Ukraine and was actually accompanied but by Pierre. And Pierre, I met Pierre there, and he's just amazing. He actually invited me to visit Kramatorsk, but I still am not ready, to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, Pierre, thank you for being a roller too. And Pierre says, "I loved your style, Jen. Super chilled. Just another day in the Donbass. I found it pretty funny."
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that. I mean, look, the truth is, I enjoy doing that work. I enjoy being in those places because everything is very full of meaning and purpose, and the conversations you have are very intense with people, and there's a lot of humanity. And yeah, so for me, like to report in Ukraine, I mean, I know it sounds like cheesy, but it's a huge privilege. And yeah,
I think, yeah, even though it might sound cheesy, it is. I agree with you. And being in these apart, like in the middle of these historical events, that I think it might be even the beginning of some bigger historical events. It seems with hesitance of democratic part of the world, it is going to some maybe even darker times. But anyway,
look, that's exactly it. Like to be in the middle of the most important thing that's happening.
yeah,
To be right in the middle of it. And I saw myself like a conduit, or like there's a big river and you just jump into it and go with the flow and soak everything up and learn and learn and learn so that you can explain it back home.
It seems like I started being pessimistic again in my last sentence, or a few. So I need to stop. Thank you for being in the middle of all of this, Jen. And I want to pass a message from AJ Lohinska. Rick, please, would you tell Jen thank you? And my dad loved Scotland. He was cared for in hospitals of Ballochmyle, Garloth, and Taymouth, or Taymouth. Rick
bad.
pronunciation challenge for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And Allah says, so happy I had a chance to read Jen's book. It is absolutely incredible. Rick, Jen, this stream is just amazing. I also agree that this is a good stream today. Thank you. I enjoy talking to you. And it's been an hour and 20 minutes, but it's like half an hour for me. Every time I have someone amazing on stream, which is almost every time, it feels like time flies so fast. And also having great comments from the community it also helps to make it time even better. Yola Swaggins, I've just come down from Mar-a-Lago. I wear an orange wig and have an orange glow. and the White House shouts when I'm about to go, Donald, where's your voters? Where's your voters?
This is that's a reference to a Scottish trope. Donald, where's your trousers?
Got it.
I'm just seeing someone's asked if I met John Sweeney anywhere. I have not met John Sweeney. He's not out there somewhere, as you say. He's actually in the UK, as I understand.
Yeah, he's in the UK these days. Yellow Swaggins is from Scotland. I've seen he mentioned before there in the chat. So you have a countryman there in the chat.
Yeah.
Did Jen get to meet John Sweeney? You answered this one already. I heard the German ambassador talking to escalation management narrative on the Telegraph's Ukraine, the latest podcast yesterday. Infuriating. What is that? What? Now, can you please tell me what was that about?
What's the? It was on the. It's a very good podcast, which my friend David Knowles does.
I've heard
you know,
about
sorry.
telegraphs. Yeah. I mean, what was that narrative?
It was the usual thing, the usual nonsense of, well, we can't push too far. We can't push too far. We can't, help defend Kharkiv because how? And I think he actually said, because how would Russia interpret that? How would Russia respond?
Oh shit!
It's the same old stuff. I know.
The only thing I want to say to those people, grow the fuck up, because really any person, in my opinion, any person who thinks that that you can calm the bully with not intervening and with not showing force, you're so delusional, and you need to. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I just wanted to react to that. No, so that's it. Basically, I think people who think also. By the way, I realized that every person, in my opinion, who says art, music is like outside of politics or can be neutral, or sports, anyone who says that is just immature, because no, it is all about politics. Everything in the world is about politics, and Russia is abusing that. Russia is abusing the people who think that it can be neutral, that they can be outside of politics. Do you agree with me on this?
Yeah, of course. I think it's unquestionable. Yeah, and you see in Ukraine how important, like, almost the cultural front is, how important writers and artists are in the nation and in this fight. I'd say that because a lot of my friends are these people, and I think they're great. But yeah, of course, you're never outside politics. I mean, this is the thing I would hear in Russia all the time when I would try and speak to people about what they thought was going on, and I would get the same thing, like, "Yeah, mouse. I don't do politics. I don't do politics." And you're like, well, you do actually. You do, by paying taxes, which go towards whatever.
Okay, Prometheus, we've come to a point when I will ask Jen to do that. Jen, please teach Rick to say the word 11.
If you're talking about the Burnt Island sketch, it's 11. 11.
Mm-hmm.
If you were saying it in the way that I would speak in Shetland, it would be 11.
11.
But we have a lot of different accents in Scotland. Yeah,
it's actually
that Burnt Island thing. I think you're referring to a very, very funny thing that happened. I had no idea that this comedy sketch from a quite small and unknown, I thought, Scottish comedy programme had reached very, very far. And so I was in this bunker gig in Kharkiv just after the full-scale invasion, and there were lots of soldiers, and Zhadan was there, and they were playing music and live streaming it to raise money for the army. And I was talking to these guys, and when they heard I was Scottish, they start doing James Bond and Sean Connery, Scotland. I'm like, yeah, it's very funny. And then one of them, he sort of burst out grinning, and he said, "I love it." And I was like, I couldn't think for a moment. I was like, how could you possibly know that? There's no way. And apparently it's actually quite popular. It went kind of viral in Ukraine. But oh man, that was so funny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was just another of those days. Like, it's a good example, because at that time, like, Kharkiv was a very dangerous place to be, and a lot of people who love me would be happy if I was not there, and they'd think that every day was just this relentless horror, and I'd be like, no guys, I just had like a really good time dancing and like talking to all these people in this basement. There was loads of dancing and singing and poetry. Of course.
Yeah, and I think the closer you to the front line, the more like you will sing more, you will dance more, because like you realize that any day can be your last, and you start living on full, you know, like you like you only live once. You feel it when you're getting closer to the gravely danger. Uh, like you feel it much stronger, I think. Right?
Yeah, and people are also more straightforward and realistic the nearer that you are to front lines.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you've been in the East for quite a while and then you go to Lviv, it feels very strange, like people are living in some fantasy land. And people are, I don't know, spending a lot more time like condemning someone refugee for speaking Russian, or condemning this person for not being Ukrainian enough. You don't get this in Kramatorsk. I've not found that.
Yeah.
You get it in Lviv, and also in like diasporas in, you know, in Scotland and Canada. There's a lot more of time spent on that sort of stuff, and I'd rather be in Kramatorsk, you know.
Yeah. That's understandable. And yeah, people, but you know, I actually am a grammar Nazi myself a bit, like because I've been speaking Russian for all my life until 2022. But I knew Ukrainian well always, because I've been learning it in school, and I loved it actually, and I loved speaking Ukrainian. Now, after 2022, I learned that Russian language was always a tool of genocide, of Russian genocide, of a tool of killing Ukrainian language, actually. So I started speaking Ukrainian only, and I'm not using Russian anymore. But so, you know, I understand the importance of speaking it, and some Ukrainians understanding this importance, they just don't understand why people keep speaking Russian. But not all people realize that Russian language is actually a tool of Russian genocide. Maybe this is why. Maybe if they realize that, they stopped. So it's only their own business. Like each person, I think, uh, should like speak any language they want. Maybe they will realize that it's a tool of Russian genocide, and still keep speaking Russian. And I would like just to personally hear it from them, and then I will understand it like myself. So that's basically my concept of it. What do you have to comment about that?
I've written about this a lot, and I I completely understand why people are switching, and it's part of this incredible movement to uncover your own past. Excuse me, to undo all of these centuries of Russian colonialism, and a lot of that was about language. I think that's important and admirable, and completely. I mean, a lot of my friends who we would have spoken Russian together before, and now they won't. They will only speak Ukrainian. I completely understand. I also think that if someone feels more comfortable because they've always spoken Russian, because perhaps they're from the East and they land up as a refugee in the West, I think they have a right to speak Russian, because the Russian language does not belong to Russia, just as English doesn't belong. But I understand this is a controversial point that would piss some people off, and it's not a hill that I need to die on. It's just my vague take is, you know, don't be a dick. Be nice to people.
Yeah, exactly. So I will never oppress guys, I swear, I will never oppress anyone who is from the from the east of Ukraine, being here, either here or in the western Ukraine. I will not. So Force X Canada is Jack Groot from Canada. He is a volunteer in Ukrainian army. He served in 25th Brigade. Right now he's back to Canada, but he's thinking of coming back. Anyway, he's an FPV pilot. I had him on a stream this Sunday, last Sunday, sorry, it was 3 days ago. Okay, so yeah, I want you to know that Forcex Canada is actually a defender of Ukraine. So thank you for your service once again, Jack. You're awesome. I'm reading the chat, trying to see what I missed there. The term grammar Nazi is not the greatest to associate with the cause. Another term you could use is a sticker for grammar. Okay, I will. Because I actually said grammar Nazi on Yulia when we were on Free Azov rally. And she was like, this is so uncomfortable to feel like when you call me Nazi, even if it's a grammar Nazi in the Free Azov, like, you know, that Russian narrative. So it was kind of odd, and yeah, that's not the best term to use at all. So sticker for grammar, or how should I say? A sticker for grammar. Mm-hmm.
A stickler. Yeah. I mean, I love grammar too, and I try not to correct other people's grammar, but I think it's important. I mean, I started off as a newspaper writer, so like you have to have good, clean copy, as they say.
Prometheus UA says nobody forbids speaking Russian in Ukraine, but Russians, even liberal ones, say that we should study Russian at school and universities. Yeah, that's the thing.
I know.
We should not. Like,
I know.
I mean, they cannot make us, you know. What we should study, I think, in my opinion, is Ukrainian, because we live in Ukraine. We have the official Ukrainian language, and we all should know that. Even if we don't want to use that, we should be able to understand that. Every
look,
country...
and actually, like, it will change. It's been incredibly fast. Like, almost never can you think of an example where so many people have switched from one language to another in their daily life. That's incredible, and it will continue to change. And in some places it will be faster, in some places it will be slower.
Yeah.
But in general, that's the future, is the Ukrainian language, of course.
You know what I actually, like another example that I notice time to time, that some people who I know don't care about the war. Some of them live here in Kyiv and just live their fancy, rich lives. If those people usually don't switch to Ukrainian, then it's probably a sign that they actually don't care, and they will probably, some of them probably will live under Russian occupation the same way as they live right now. Because there are always, I think in every country, in every society, you can find people who don't care much. They're not interested in politics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a self-defense thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It is.
Yeah.
My dad was a teacher, says Murdsy, and Ma was a librarian, so spelling and grammar were strictly enforced. Guys, do we have more questions to Jen? It's been 1 hour and almost 40 minutes, and in about 18 minutes we'll need to finish the stream. I would love for it to go longer, but it's not a Sunday stream. On Sundays we go for 8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
But I am fundraising on Sundays, and this is why, like, at least half of the stream is dedicated for putting the people's names on the spreadsheet for the raffle, because people are buying tickets. Guys, by the way, Motankas are back. Let's raffle this beautiful Motanka this Sunday. I decided that we need to take a break from paintings and actually raffle Motanka again. As always, $10 for a ticket, unlimited number of tickets. This one is actually an angel with yellow and blue wings. Of course, it's a handmade Motanka, because Motankas are not mass produced, as far as I know, at all. So yeah, another Ukrainian Motanka for you guys to not just make a donation, but have a chance to win something awesome Ukrainian. Yeah, so every Sunday there's a raffle there are maybe also auctions besides raffles. Of course, some people just donate if they want to support but don't want anything in return. That, like all the people, even when they buy tickets, they don't want anything in return, but they are testing their luck to get that special item. That
Good.
Because some people may think that when I say don't want to get anything in return, like you want specifically get something in return. No, I mean some people like don't want any tickets never. Like Emonsky, for example, donates and always says no tickets needed. So yeah, that's interesting.
Good.
By the way, Dr. Tuso jumps in and gifts 50 memberships. Thank you very much, Dr. Tuso. Rick, my apologies for being 2 hours late. No problem. You will have to watch the stream and record it if you have time, because Jen was really telling us some amazing things, and Jen has a book. You guys can find, once again, I remind you, the link where you can buy the book in the description of the stream. Also, you can find the website
With pictures.
With pictures, yeah. Look at this.
Actually, I'd love to show you this picture. You can find it on my website. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. This, I'm sure you can imagine from which window that was taken.
Yeah, I can.
So there was one. I was in Kiev for a couple of days in March 2023, and I don't usually spend a lot of time in Kiev, and I saw that for some reason the Ukrainian hotel was like, the rooms were really cheap. They were like $15 that night. And I thought, well, I'll just treat myself, and stay there. And I kept thinking, God, I really hope it's the top floor. I hope it's the top floor. And it was so exciting, because I love being up high. I love heights, because I grew up in a place where I'd spend a lot of time on the cliffs. And so I'd wake up, I was there for 2 mornings, and I'd wake up at sunrise and hope it was going to be like a perfect sunrise. And of course it was, because it's Ukraine and it's always sunny and delightful. And I had this big, like a really nice wide angle lens. So I got this kind of big shot of down below with the sunrise. Down.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think I might put on my wall at some point. Remember this beautiful place. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yes, Dr. Tuso, once again, thank you. And also, I wanted to say that you gotta watch the recording, because Jen is a very kind person and a traveler and a journalist also. So yeah, she, I think she got a lot of stories there for the last 2 years, and before that also, because as Jen told us, she had a lot of work before that. The articles, you can find them on the website, right? Some of them.
Yeah. No, I've covered a lot of different things, definitely. Yeah, but I always knew I would go and do something like, just set off into the middle of something without quite knowing how that would work out. And, you tend to land on your feet like a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
CF Beauty, hi everyone, been listening while working, awesome stream. I agree, Jen, it is thanks to you. Well, thanks to 2 of us, but mostly thanks to you.
That's been great. This is funny. Last time I did a YouTube thing, I just got lots of comments from Americans saying that they couldn't understand what I was saying because of my accent, and it just cracked me up. And there was one comment that said, "I just listened to her with subtitles on so I can understand her," and I quote, "weirdly pronounced words."
Well, actually, I can understand you perfectly, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's that strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Did you develop it in not develop? Did you change your accent in time? Do you think? Like, it was stronger? No?
Yeah, if I'm talking to like Shetland members of my family, or dogs, or children, strangely, or if I drink too much whiskey, then I talk in quite a broad. I can talk more broad Shetland dialect, which is a combination of Old Norse, bits of Scottish dialects from the coasts and Hanseatic Dutch from the trading. It's a long story. So yeah, but I mean, obviously I used to work on BBC Radio, so I got very used to talking in a easy to understand, I hope, kind of way. Yeah.
You can be sure. I'm a Ukrainian and I could understand you easily. Like, not every Ukrainian will understand you, I guess, because when I was only starting to learn English, it was much harder to understand different accents.
It's really hard. Yeah.
But if you, yeah, I think if you already know some English, it's much easier to understand. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard both ways, isn't it? Like, I remember when I was transcribing and translating simultaneously a lot of interviews I'd done where people were talking in Surzhyk, and I can, I can understand most of it. But like, my mind is kind of melting. Like, it's really hard. It's hard to figure out when you're not used to that. But I also think Surzhyk's really beautiful. I think it's really interesting linguistic phenomenon that doesn't get enough. Yeah.
Yeah, Surzhyk, the mix of Ukrainian and Russian. I also agree. I discovered actually, even though I'm kind of a sticker for grammar.
Stickler.
Well, it was written sticker.
Oh, okay.
I'm 90% sure it was sticker there, but I will say stickler. I like this version better. A stickler for grammar, even though I am, the Yoda style, you see. A stickler for grammar, even though I am. I discovered last year with the help of Amil and Ramil. Do you know those twins? They were actually main actors in Luxembourg in Ukrainian. Okay, there was that movie. Okay, they are comics. They are musicians. They are a part of the band Kurhan Yahrehat, and they sing in Surzhyk. I've been actually putting a lot of songs of their songs on these streams, and they are singing. And I discovered beauty in it only last year in 2023 when I discovered this band, thanks to my wife, by the way. I realized that, yeah, there is some beauty in it. There is some kind of a, as we say, in Ukrainian, izumenka. Like,
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's not raisin. You don't say that, but it's like a. Yeah. Okay. Like it's. Let's call it sparkle or something, like something unique in it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, what do we see there? Jen, I will add their songs to our playlist. Yeah, Allah, please do that. So you also listen to them, right? Hidden Gem, yes, Hidden Gem. That's a good one. Thank you, Allah.
Speaking about the particularities of spelling Russian, Ukrainian, Surzhyk, and different words. When Ala said that she read my book, she didn't just read it; she proofread it to ensure to help me get everything correct in terms of spelling and so on.
Wow!
For which I'm
awesome,
very, very grateful. Yeah.
Thank you, Ricky and Jen. This has been a great stream. Thank you, Nikki. I agree. That was a good one. Okay, what do we have there? In Ukraine, we joke that the English accent is the most difficult to understand. In fact, this is true for some dialects in England. I agree, Prometheus UA. Like, we actually struggle to understand Cockney, I think, in Ukraine.
Yeah, it barely exists anymore. But yeah, I know what you mean. Someone there has said that Liverpool is very hard. I lived in Liverpool to do my journalism training for 6 months, and it took me about 2 weeks, and then I kind of tuned in. But it is quite different, and people talk very fast, like extremely fast, sort of at you. It's a very intense place, Liverpool. I love it, but for some people, they're like, "Oh my God, why is everyone talking to me?" Whereas, like, if you go to London, like no one's talking to you all day. It's extremely
extremely cold, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of the interesting things about the UK is the sheer diversity of accents, and I pity anyone who's learning English and comes here and tries to talk to people. It must be really difficult.
Yeah, Murdsy says Cockney isn't even English, lol. uh, like Welsh, maybe.
Well, you're on shaky ground there because Wales is a nation,
I know.
as Scotland is. So that's not.
Yeah,
of
that's
course,
not
it's
a
not
dialect. I mean,
yeah.
I wasn't saying like when Murdsy said Cockney isn't even English. I'm maybe thought literally like
All right. Yeah.
Welsh is not literally in English, right?
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Окей, Prometheus UA asks me in Ukrainian. Будь ласка, подякуй Джен за те, що написала книгу про Україну. Це надзвичайно важливо для нас, адже ми століттями були у тіні Росії, на Заході мало книг про нашу країну. You understood that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Guys, do all of you need the translation, or you can do it with Google Translate? Well, let me practice, okay? Please thank Jen for writing a book about Ukraine. It is extremely important for us because for centuries we've been in Russia's shadows. On the West, there are not that many books about our country. Yeah.
It's true. Absolutely, it's true. Yeah.
So you, by knowing Russian, you already learned Ukrainian in 2 years, or how do you understand everything?
I can understand a lot of written Ukrainian because I studied a bit and talked to people.
Because
if you ask
can
me
see
to
the chat, because you can see the chat, you could understand all of that. If I just read it to you, how does it work?
If you read it, I would understand. I mean, that's quite a simple. Like, there's nothing too difficult in there, but yeah, I mean, I understand kind of 50%. And if people talk slowly, I can understand more. And I have studied a little bit, but I don't have the time to study as much as I'd like. Alla's given me lots of Ukrainian books that I will read. Alla, I just moved house and there's a lot going on, you know.
Like I imagined, I will read. Wink?
I will.
Sorry, I didn't want to make you how do you, not blush, but maybe
on the spot.
On the spot to not okay, whatever. I didn't mean
to
do that.
One thing I found really interesting about understanding more Ukrainian is that when I am in Poland, like traveling through Poland, I can understand more Polish because of some of the shared words and I guess some of the pronunciation. I love languages. I always did. I always wanted to learn lots and lots of languages, and maybe I will one day. But my brain isn't as spongy as it was, you know, when I was 19.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
We're actually almost the same age with you.
88, I was born.
91, so I'm 33. So I can imagine that the brain is not that spongy anymore.
Well, you have to train it, you know, and keep it.
Well, yeah, you're right. If you train it good enough, you could be the same 18 years. Well, not 18, at least 28 years old when you're 90, right? But
I mean, what I need to do is just do like some immersion, you know, where I go and live with a family for a few weeks and only speak Ukrainian. That's. Yeah, I struggle to learn sort of online or doing lessons online. It doesn't suit me. So I need to be doing it all the time. And maybe I'll do that soon.
Oh, hello, Epitalks. Only joining now. You definitely got to watch the recording. It was a good one. Jen, it was really nice to have you here.
It was a total pleasure. Thank you, Rick. And thank you, everyone watching and commenting. It's been great.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. We have 96 people. Do we have at least 100 likes? I bet we do, but we'd better have 200. Let's go check. How much is it? Okay, almost there. Do we have at least 100 likes? 165. Nice, guys. What about 35 more? These streams on Wednesday are not that crowdy as... Oh, crowded. Crowdy. Is it the new word? Or
Yeah,
there's
you've made a
actually
new word. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not that crowded as on Sunday. Though I am... Yeah, I just am... I was talking about the likes. I started switching topics. That's always with me. It's a, I usually don't finish my thoughts properly. It's a flaw of my mm, mind
I'm
thinking.
very similar. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for all these really nice comments, guys. That's really lovely.
yeah, you see
If
how
anyone's a
important it
listener
is to read the chat during the
yeah,
stream.
I agree. If anyone is a listener to Ukraine World, Explaining Ukraine, I was on that recently, and it's one of my favorite interviews I've done because it's with Volodymyr Yermolenko, who I know him well, and he's just it's.
Let's do it right now. Can you please send me the link of that, and I'll add it to the description of the stream. Can you do it?
It's a SoundCloud link. I think they're also on podcast apps, but I'll send you the SoundCloud link.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked in Kiev. It was about a month ago, and
Hey, Mr. Kaplan, thank you very much for 20 euro super chat. Thank you for the stream, Jen and Rick. It was a pleasure. Okay, copy link. And guys, you won't believe it. I'm going to add it to the description right now. I'll call it Jen's recent, no, or best interview. What do you think?
well, this was a pretty good interview, I'd say. No, I did Silicon Curtain and a few others in New Books Network, so I've been doing a lot of these things. But I think just sitting with Volodya, because I know him and we've sort of travelled a bit together, so it was a very nice kind of warm conversation about our experiences in the last 2 years, and about Victoria as well.
Awesome. I named it Jen's recent interview after all. Okay. So, yeah. So, guys, you can go there. There's a SoundCloud link. If people don't use SoundCloud, where else they can listen to it?
I listened to it earlier on the podcast app. So I think it'll be uploaded to a lot of different podcast apps, whichever one you use. I think I use like the shitty Apple one. I don't know. But it seemed to be there. Yeah.
Okay, 176 likes already. Yeah, I was about to mix the words already and anymore. That's crazy. My brain is getting tired after 3 hours of streaming. Though I was hyperactive today, and that means I lost more energy than when I'm tired.
Me too, yeah.
Okay, I was also on Silicon Curtain. That's what I wanted to mention. And Jonathan Fink is a great interviewer. And I want to come back to Silicon Curtain once again. I need to contact him because like a month ago we contacted each other once again for some... Yeah, I was asking him to make a community post about something or something like that, and he was, "Hey, we need to do the next part next week," and I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And of course, we didn't do it like that. So
okay,
yeah, I need to contact him again because I think he would like to do another recording, but he just has so many guests and. I'm sure that some of them contacting him once again to do another part, just like I want to do it. I can understand Scottish accents because of Outlander, says Shell.
No.
Is it the TV show?
Yeah.
Outlander, something familiar.
It was a book. It was a series of books, and it became a TV show. It's very. It's not quite as bad as Braveheart, but it's along those lines. There's a lot of like sexy, bearded men killing the English.
Is it like the modern one from about 6 to 7 years ago? No.
Yeah.
I guess I know that TV show, but I never watched it, so I didn't even know that it was about Scotland, right?
I guess, yeah.
I hope that over time in the West, interest in Ukraine will increase and Ukrainian classics will begin to be translated into English. the world loses so much because it does not know Ukrainian literature. I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, it's a big shift. It's such a big shift, and it has to happen in universities. We have to dislodge the great Russian novel from its
Oh
heart.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I studied Russian literature at university, and it was all taught like that.
I
It's,
hope it changes, because you see, for example, that pro Putin's opera singer lately has been reinstated. Her concerts were reinstated in Germany. I forgot her name.
mhm.
Yeah, that's good that I forgot her name, but I mean, we we need to also know. But yeah, she was openly pro Novorossiya. Remember that bullshit flag? She was
I
holding it
do.
in her hand. So she supports Russian aggression. And guys, no one must tolerate that. They should be excluded. People who openly support invading other countries and committing genocide must be excluded from any public events, and they should be cancelled. That's my opinion, and that's how this world should work. Yeah. Okay. I see. Andres was surprised that we've been going for 3 hours, and I thought it was like 3 hours. Like, Rick, it's time to end this. No, he was just surprised. But anyway, I try to keep it 3 hours on Wednesdays, because I also need to do some homework after. Well, not the homework, but like maybe
Housework.
housework. Yes.
I also need to actually do some housework. Yeah.
So let's go do some housework.
Oh, such fun. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really am hoping to work on the dub, because I plan to launch it um on Saturday. Yeah. Ideally, I will finish it um by Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say it like that. By Saturday, and if you want to watch some of them, Jen, you can also. Oh, but you understand Russian. You've probably watched. Yeah, you don't need to watch my dubs, because you understand Russian and you probably watch the originals.
No, I never understand everything, so of course it's a really valuable thing to do. I think to share these around and dub them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I also think. So this is why I feel so frustrated when I keep uh, not posting one of them for 3 or 4 months. It's been so yeah. That this is why I'm pretty much energized right now, because it's like, oh, look at this, Rick. It's almost done. Just a few days of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is it. Thank you, Jen. Let's wrap up this. I will ask you to maybe address people with some final message, if you want, if you have one, if you want something to say.
I really hope that the book that I've written can reach a lot of people who maybe wouldn't usually read history or politics or read about war, because it's very accessible and it's not just grim. It's there's a lot of joy and happiness and dancing and beautiful people and beautiful places. And in doing so, I hope that I can make people understand why we're all involved in this. Like, this isn't just Ukraine's fight, and why we need to be more involved and help more. That's my aim with the book. So if you know people who, this is shameless self-promotion as well to sell my book, but I really do want to reach people. If you know people who, a lot of people would say to me, oh, it's just so confusing. I just don't understand what's going on. And then they would often follow that with, and we just don't know the truth. And you know what comes next, right? It's like, and the media's lying and the BBC are lying, and no one knows the truth. And I'll be like, yeah, we do know the truth. I know the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I've been there, and it's so frustrating. So I wanted to write a book that people who aren't very engaged with it might read, because it's not hard to read this book. It's not like dry or analytical. So yeah, that's my hope with it.
Yeah. yeah, guys. No problem. Shameless self-promotion. I'm all about that. It's like, okay, guys. Silver Earth was asking, "Am I wearing a High Mars T-shirt?" No, it's a Stinger T-shirt. It's one of the logos. Well, not the logos. Like, let's call them stickers. We have these tiers of memberships on YouTube and on Buy Me Coffee. It's Stinger, then Javelin, then Bradley, Abrams, and HIMARS. So I also made actually 2 T-shirts with that, and working on launching a merch collection or something like that. So so more self-promotion of mine. I'm joking. Okay, guys, just become a member on my Buy Me a Coffee if you like to support my work. Thank you. So now you probably don't feel that, how do you call it? Shameless, right? When I do that together with you. I hope that supports you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you once again for coming. Thank you for watching, commenting, asking questions, given your thoughts and stories there in the chat. And yes, Holy Oblation, I'm gonna open a shop, or actually I'm gonna open a collection in the existing shop, and that's gonna be a good collaboration. In the upcoming week, the information will come, believe me. That's going to be faster than the last time. I already did one effort and it failed. But yeah, we need to finish it sooner or later. Oh, finally. Thank you, guys. Thank you for standing with Ukraine. Thank you for keep coming, being interested. Thank you for all the donations that you do for the Ukrainian army. And I think we'll get through these hard times, and everything is going to be better at some point. So love you all, guys. And just to finish this, I will say, live long and prosper. And Slava Ukraini. Okay, now I'll press the end stream button.